107. What's today's date? June 4th? June 4th, 2020, 10:51 a.m. Eastern Time. America's still on fire. And
the year that won't fucking end, dude. God
I
damn.
know, right? We're not even halfway through. Are we? No, we'll be halfway through July 1st, right?
All right, yeah.
Well, on a more serious note than the social unrest in America, I would like to talk about Hot Pockets. I have Robin.
You plugging for a sponsor right now? Or
I fucking wish, man. I would fucking I would sell my soul. So I've been eating a lot of Hot Pockets. Been mixing them with whatever frozen food. Turkey burgers on a Hot Pocket. Okay, cool. Hot Pocket with some meatloaf. Cool. Hot Pocket with some tomato soup. Why not? Dude.
Turkey burger on a Hot Pocket.
Fuck yeah, man. Microwave all that shit together. Mash it up. Tastes great. So I am down to 197.6, which is the lowest weight I've been since 2015. So,
fuck. If it's working, then
well, it's all calories. It doesn't actually matter what you eat. It's thermodynamics. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. Energy can only change forms. It's all thermodynamics. So, but I don't know. Maybe I feel so sick after I eat Hot Pockets. I don't want to eat again. So
you just fucking do 30-minute. Toilet sessions or some shit.
I just feel terrible. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I normally like to munch because I'm a fat glutton. But when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, man, I'm not trying to microwave a Hot Pocket right now. So it's that little barrier keeps me from eating.
Nice.
It doesn't take a lot to deter me.
You stink. My dog's not spazzing out today, but she did have a vet appointment, so she's very needy. You smell, Luna. Go lay down. Go on.
Go lay down, Luna.
Go lay down.
You're being rude. Trying again. So I was trying to think about what would be the silver lining. Rob Anton, unavailable. Rob, what the fuck?
Come on, Rob.
Come on, Rob.
Give me, Rob. Give me,
Rob. I was trying to think about what the silver lining would be in all of this. And the only thing I can think of is if in 2 weeks there's not, well, I guess, now it'd be a week. It's been going on for what, about a week?
It's about a week, yeah.
If there's not a massive COVID spike in a week, then we can either say it's whatever your political leaning, it's just herd immunity, or it was all a hoax. Whatever. The reality is if there's not a spike in a week, then we can get back to normal life. Maybe that will be, maybe this was the season finale.
Maybe. Hopefully. I just saw somebody posted something about Yellowstone. Having 25 tremors or whatever. Now, granted, a friend of mine, he said that his brother works there at the geological preserve or whatever the fuck is out there. And that's actually that's normal for that volcano range or whatever the fuck you want to call it to have that many.
Yeah, I looked that up. It's actually
So it's nothing major, but I did find it funny because I'm just looking at it. It's 2020. Don't. And then
it's literally 2020 is a cat. It's just knock shit off. It's okay.
Throwing shit off shelves.
It's 4 years of half the nation hating the president, followed by 3 months of close quarters isolation, followed by an execution in the streets. What could make it worse? It's just oh no. It's what can make a bad date worse? It'd be I don't know, dysentery. It's just really jack it up. But I was thinking, so let's say a week goes by and there's no massive spike, right?
I'm listening. Yep.
So people on the right are going to say, it was a hoax. It was never that bad. People on the left are going to say it was that bad. This is just herd immunity. Whatever the bullshit justification each side uses so we can continue to hurl shit at each other, it doesn't matter because the end result will be the same. It's not. It's we can start again. So that would be fucking awesome. Now Rob just said he sent a request to me. Come on, Rob, get your fucking.
Is he on Zoom? He's not using Zoom, is he?
Yeah, I'll check. I bet he's on fucking Zoom. God damn it, Rob.
Fuck.
He says he's on Skype. Says he sent a request. Hold on, I'm gonna end this call real quick, okay?
What the fuck, man? You gonna hang up on me again?
Same introduction, episode 106 or 107?
Holy shit.
June 4th, 2020, 10:59 a.m. Eastern Time. America's on fire. Rob, our Trisha Takanawa, our Asian correspondent. Rob Newick, our
reports of Torontonians mocking police with donuts on sticks.
Yeah, our Canadian correspondent.
As bad as it's gotten up.
Yeah, I saw some meme the other day, and it was like some like black and white like doorbell footage, and it's like, my God, the protests have reached Canada, and it just shows someone looking both ways. This is a quiet street, and they just push over this tiny trash can and walk away. And it's like, oh fuck, it's hit Canada. But yeah, man, it's so I unplugged from it all like 2 days ago because I saw that Bill Hicks clip that I hadn't seen forever, and it's like, have you, and he's not a slight on CNN, it was shot, this was in 1992, he's like, have you ever watched CNN headline news for any amount of time? It's the most depressing fucking thing you'll ever see. War, famine, death, AIDS, homeless, recession, depression, war, famine, death, AIDS. He's like, and then you look outside, I can't do the noise, but it's just like the night crickets. And he's like, and you look back at your TV, you're like, where is this happening? Like, and that's, I realized I was getting so like wound up. I was like, oh no, we're doing the thing. We're protesting and burning. And on one hand, you got to have peaceful protests because you can't keep killing unarmed black guys. On the other hand, you can't be burning down businesses. And I was like, but is this martial law? Is this, and I was getting
killing unarmed black guys.
Yeah, yeah. And I was starting to get so wound up. I was good. And then I accidentally like locked my phone. And so it went black, and I just saw my own reflection, and it was me, like, sideways laying in bed, and I was like, wait, this is where I actually am. And I kind of, like, yeah, again, I literally was like, just kind of looked around, just hear the fan kind of clink, 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 and, like, the air conditioner just, and I was like, it's 1 a.m., and I'm just, like, completely safe. I went to try to get a haircut the other day. Literally, you would never know anything was going on out of the ordinary in America. It's just, I was like, okay, well, how much of this am I just importing? Like, oh God, it's the. And I was like, and how much is really banging on my door? Like, it's one thing if like the Nazis are overhead, like dropping bombs on your city, but like, it's just sunny. There's just like a bird chirping, and I was like, okay, hold on.
A little human out.
Yeah, a little human. Yeah, I met a nice woman walking her dog today, and we talked for a minute, and it's like, hold on, you like. I'm not saying, stick your head in the sand and pretend, because, you definitely need to be involved, and or may or may not need to be involved, but, at least be, like, up to date on what's going on. But for the most part, I was like, dog, like, my agenda today is, like, I got a podcast with 2 friends, then I'm going to go play some Modern Warfare 3 on an Xbox 360, and probably watch The Office later. Yeah. Yeah, and I was just like, what's really going on in life? Like, what's, So, on that note, I have not been plugged in. Has anything changed in the last day or two?
People are just as shitty as you expected. So
I don't think anything's changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like the worst game of tennis in the world. It's just like lobbing pieces of horseshit at each other back.
Dude, for real.
Assholes,
still
racist.
Expect us to pay like $50 a ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And we're still like, if this game goes on, if this baseball game goes on for another inning, I'm leaving. Okay. Right. But the elections are coming up, so we're all going to take out our wallets and pay for a $40 hot dog, and we're like, last inning, bud. We're not doing this anymore. But here we go into inning 30.
We've already left the game.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah. We're just sitting. We're filling seats. Right now.
It's not even like the seventh inning stretch or whatever the fuck, like where people usually leave early. We're just like, nah, yeah, I'm fucking over it. I'm over it.
I'm over it. No, I'm gonna fucking
it's
leave. Yeah.
It's like the last game before they demolish a stadium. And like,
I don't want to leave.
There, the new fans, you know what I mean? We all remember it. We're nostalgic, but like these motherfuckers won't leave.
Yeah, It's not a really good game, but we're like, I don't want to leave. Like, you know, I've been here for. I've been here for so long. You know, I want to be here. You know, I don't want to. But it's like it's really just like a drizzly summer game. Like,
there's only one place to put a stadium in the city.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You guys are sitting on it. So
there's only
more likely fucking leave.
Yeah. There's only one footprint available in this urban area, and we're all expecting some magic to happen. But the reality is it's just another game.
Yeah.
So that's where I was trying to think, Rob. I was just saying to JP. The only possible good that can come out of this is, so the protest has been going on for about a week, which means that if there's there's a 2-week incubation period. So if in another week there's a massive coronavirus outbreak, that won't be good. The only good thing that can come from this is, through whatever logic you want to use, herd immunity. It was just a Chinese hoax. Whatever. If in a week there isn't a massive outbreak of coronavirus, then we can all, you know,
I would be surprised, considering like fucking Mother's Day up here brought us from like, and I'm talking about Ontario specifically. We were like hovering around 250, and then Mother's Day happened, and then when we jump back up to 450 a day, like so like, that's my thing. It's like, there's a lot of sweaty ass motherfuckers close to each other.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like how quickly. How quickly coronavirus just, or at least the fear of it, just vanished. Just like that, millions of people in the street screaming, and it's like, well, it's, you know, civil rights and equality is more important than coronavirus. And I was like, I thought the whole tagline was coronavirus is indifferent to your cause, whether you're marching to be able to go back to work or marching for police brutality.
It's not political. It's
the virus gives no fucks. Gravity's not like, you know, gravity doesn't pull Nazis down on their noose any faster than an innocent kid. Like, you know, gravity's like snap, break the neck, and it's not like he was hold on, well that's a good guy. You know, zero gravity. No, it doesn't. Coronavirus isn't like, well, what was the purpose? Can I see the video? Oh wow, that was brutality. All right, boys, like stop replicating. It's just gonna run. It's gonna run a train. It does not care. It's like if you're a gun store owner, you don't care if sales are up because the economy is good and everyone's got disposable income, or because there's some threat that they think they're gonna take the guns away. You don't give a fuck. You're just raking in the cash. Coronavirus gives no fucks. I don't know. Rob, are there like protests in Canada, as our Canadian correspondent?
There was. There was over the weekend.
Really?
But it's just like marching, peaceful nonsense. Like nothing happened.
God damn it, Canada.
No, less violent.
Good for Canada. God damn.
I know. I was
like the G20. That was the last violent thing I remember in the city.
What was it? I'm sorry. What was that, Rob? Can you repeat that?
The G20. I guess it was I don't know. People
the World Summit thing?
Yeah, because like they were getting, the cops were just like, this isn't Canada. This is the G20. And people were like, fuck you. So that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
And they brought in like a lot of people from all over the country to the city. And I find like when that shit happens, that's when shit kind of falls apart. Like when it's just the Toronto policing Toronto, seems all right. Like this weekend was. But when they bring in the fucking rednecks and shit, shit goes fucking wild. Because like they lose control. You lose control of that kind of environment.
Yeah, it's almost like
specific people are. It goes like, it's crazy. Like I was living a block north of where like the main thing shit happened. There's a video of it, and there's like a bunch of people just sitting on the street singing the national anthem, and then as soon as they finished, the cops charged them and started beating the shit out of them. Like, and it's just like, what the fuck? They didn't, like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, man. I don't know. There's going to be a good South Park episode about this. That's for sure. They're going to somehow tie Cartman and Kyle into it, but
Nowadays, you could just like go back to other seasons and just play an old one about some, because this shit just keeps going over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
like
there are like clips circulating from like in that 2009 episode about like swine flu, and it's like it's like Randy laying in the street. He's like, Stan, when this is all over, 98.5% of us will still be alive. He's like, this virus does not care about life. Stan, but Stan, Shelly. Hey, Sharon. But
Randy is the man that I aspire to be. Honestly, I love Randy.
I just love the encapsulation of who Randy is. It's just like that basic, like, opportunistic guy. Like the basic, like, because he's like not exceptionally smart, not hardworking, or like, you know what I mean? He's just like kind of
attached
on shit. Like the whole Tegrity Farms arc has been fucking hilarious. Like. Now, like, I just watched the first episode of the latest season, and he's, like, trying to get, like, a restriction on people's home growing. It's, like, fucking, like, of course. Like, he becomes a greedy ass.
Growers are fucking over my business.
Yeah. Think about all the children. Like, it's fucking...
Yeah, I fell off it for a while, man. I think I went about 3 seasons without watching it. And not because, like, I didn't care. It's just, like, I don't have cable, you know, so it's kind of hard, and it requires more effort on my part to watch them.
I haven't watched them since like 2016. I love them. I don't know why I haven't watched. Yeah.
But the band in China, which I think was the last episode, like I saw a clip of it, like that they advertised on Facebook, and it's just like, you know, this country kind of like podunk festival or whatever, and there's like these twangy fucking country people playing songs and whatnot, and they're like, now we got to play, you know, a song from a local small-time band from our kindergarten class or our middle school with Stan. This is called Red Dawn. And he's just like, they're all like eager and like timid and stuff, you know, and obviously nervous. And then like they break out and they're just playing like thrash metal. And not only like this whole premise is funny, but what got me was that they had Jimmy, the fucking cripple kid, on drums, pulling these like triple, like double bass beats. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This shit's hilarious. It's like, all right, I need to catch up with the show. I need to get back on it. It was the best like 2 weeks of my life in the last year.
I think there are a lot of all-time greats. I'd probably say Man Bear Pig. That holds a special place in my heart. Me and my friend Joe in high school Joe printed out Man Bear Pig stickers, bumper stickers, and we had them on like cars at Pius. We were like, you know, have you heard? Like we all must band together. That Imagination Land, but I think another great one is Student Athletes. Where so your slaves earn you lots of money. You don't have to pay them. Slaves? Oh, I mean, student athletes. But only South Park can illuminate that shit in that way, where it's like they shit on stuff in the most like childish way, but you can't help but kind of step back at the end and be like, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Like having gone to UGA and seeing like, you'd go by all these new buildings, you know, the new science building, the new physics, whatever. All very good, you know, this massive institution, the oldest public college in the United States. And then you'd see like the new football gym, and it looked like something out of like a starship. And it was like, and you weren't allowed to go into it, only the athletes were.
Right.
And it was like, where'd they get this money? And it's like, oh, they don't have to use the endowment. They get it all from like NCAA stuff, sponsors, ESPN. And it was like, so they're funding stuff that is light years better than the already amazing shit we have. Student athletes, they don't get a dime. It was like, holy shit.
And I think it's important to note too, like, because I saw the 6 weeks to air documentary. It's like
6 days
documents like the whole, they document like the whole process of them making episodes, and they literally do it in a week. The episodes that air that week, they were done, like, they were...
that morning.
Yeah, ideas were scripted, like, 6 days ago, and they did all this shit in, like, 6 days. It's fucking amazing. But they're talking about that specific episode, and I always get them messed up if it's Matt Stone. I think it's Matt Stone, but he's talking about, you know what's really fucked up about that whole premise is that these organizations, these sports organizations, like they claim they don't have enough money to pay for these kids, like parents to like fly them out to the game or whatever. I'm like, dude, that's so fucked up. I'm like,
yeah. Meanwhile,
you're
like
making a killing off this kid's likeness in video games and selling merchandise and all this other shit. And like, really? Come on.
And not even that. I mean, the value that like on a UGA game day weekend, man, I don't know shit about business or economics, but like anyone with a pulse and eyesight could see like, oh, these bars, you know, let's say there's 6 game days in a year out of 52 weekends. Those 6 of the 52 weekends, they probably make 50% of their profit. Like,
right, yeah.
And 6 festivals every summer. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
It's
right,
massive.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. And it's not only that, but like the head coach is like Nick Saban, he makes like $5 million a year.
Aren't they like the highest paid public servants?
Yeah,
in,
above like
in
four
every state,
above 4-star generals, above above the president, above any like it's yeah.
Can you imagine just like some 4-star general rolling up to like the head of like Roll Tide, and he's just like, sir.
What if?
Emperor Saban.
Yeah. Saban's like, let him in. They're my +1.
Yeah. That's right. My 4? Was that 4 stars on that?
Was that 4 stars? Let him in.
3,
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. 3. Put him in the away. Put him with the student.
Slob the fuck out of here.
Hey, you know, can you play tuba? You can go with the band. Like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, they've got the heated boxes, and yeah, you go in there. It's just literally looks like Kennedy's bunker. There's just a bunch of 4-star generals in there. You got to know who to talk to, man.
Rob, did you get that when you lived down here? Like the whole premise of like,
hold on,
college.
Shut up! I'm interrupting. No, shut up! I'm interrupting. Do you think that there's any like I wonder if there actually is any like truth to that though? Like, hey Saban, let me in. I'll get you a kick-ass B-2 stealth bomber to fly over. Like, I'll call it in from the boys.
Oh, I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. It's all like handshakes and jerking each other off. All right.
What else are they doing with them?
Yeah.
Right now, I mean.
Hey, we're
polishing them and flying them over stadiums.
What if they had like stickers?
Keep them clean.
Like
keep them seen.
Yeah. Keep them clean. Like the World War II bombers with like, or the fighters with like the checks on the side. It'd be like 10 checks. Tallies. Yeah, this one's gone over 10 Rose Bowls.
I don't know if it was funnier because you kind of sounded like Ronald Reagan when you said that. Yeah, this baby's got over.
This baby's got over 10 Rose Bowls. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
So I apologize, JP, before I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. No,
I totally understood what football was when I was down there.
No, but I mean, like, do you guys have anything like of that equivalent in Canada? Are you guys like, no?
Hockey?
Maybe like junior. Man, not even.
Really?
Nobody gives a shit about like farm league hockey.
Yeah, I remember when my roommate Billy came down. He had graduated from BC and had never like been south of Boston, and just decided to do a master's at UGA, some bullshit master's, because he knew he was going to go to law. It's just one of those brilliant kids that kind of like takes courses for the fun of it, and, you know, aces it just because it's like, oh, that was interesting. It's like, fuck you, dude. Just literally big brain time. Yeah. Dude, I had a friend in college who was a business and like finance major, like double major, and like his last year he was like, you know, medicine's kind of interesting. Knocked out like 30 credit hours in each semester, got into med school, scored higher on the MCAT than I did, and I was just like, I was like,
more power to those people, but yeah, fuck you,
them.
Dude.
No, yeah, again, more power to them. It's like you want those guys to be doctors, but part of me was almost like, you can't. No, gatekeeping. Like, you can't come in. You gotta suffer. You're having fun, and you have a girlfriend, and you can go to medical school. No, you get one of those, asshole. Oh, you're tall and you're handsome too. Well, fuck me. All right, but my friend Billy, fuck him. He was literally like, yeah, I'm just going to go do like a 2 years master at UGA, because he just wanted to see an SEC school. Like, again, smart enough that he could just be drunk 6 days a week and still ace his master's program before he went to law school at fucking like UVA or some shit. Fuck you, Billy. I love you.
Yeah, I'm getting fucking depressed.
Yeah. I won't say his last name, but he worked, is it like Martha's Vineyard? What's one of like the really snooty, like maybe Cape Cod? What is one of the really snooty like harbors up there?
Oh, yeah, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, yeah.
Well, like while at BC, for the summer he would park yachts or whatever, right? He would go out and they'd go out in like a dinghy. They'd bring the billionaire back. He used to like Bill Belichick. He used to like these NFL coaches and owners. He used to park their yachts, and for you get tipped like $1,500. But he was like, yeah, no, I made it a goal. He was like, I fucked my girlfriend on every one of those yachts. Like I think that was, and I was just like, man, that these like billionaires, you don't think that they like have like surveillance on there? Like a lot of these ships have like anti-missile systems. I just remember watching the color drain from his face. He's like, oh no. But like
he's got all these billionaires. Did that weird kid come onto your boat and fuck?
they're all looking like
it only took one. I was like, he's got balls. Let him do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got moxie.
Actually, one of the billionaires probably collects all the videos.
Yeah,
have you seen this man?
He's the creepy billionaire. He's like, yeah, I'll take those off your hand. Yeah.
Fucking. He's the latest Henry Hill, dude.
Yeah.
Like Goodfellow.
Yeah. All those billionaires are hanging out the 4-star generals and Nick Saban. They're all in the same box. Like, kid's got moxie. But, so anyway, he came down to UGA. Didn't know a soul. Didn't know a fucking soul. His roommate at BC went to Pius. And that roommate went up to BC. He's another one of these smart guys that just, fuck it, I can get into any college. Might as well go see another city while still getting a 4.0. So he went up there. And so Billy, who was his roommate, didn't know anyone but knew this kid who knew all of us. And so this kid was like, I won't say his name, but he was like, hey man, my friend Billy wants, and we needed another roommate. We were all doing like an extra semester. So we're like, yeah man, sure. We've never met this kid in our life. Still one of my good friends now, 6-7 years later. But he came down, man. The point to all of this is, I remember during the first game day, I remember him calling all of his friends in Boston, and he was like, it's true. The rumors are true. We were kind of looking at him like, what? And he was literally like, everyone's drunk. It's 7 a.m. Dude, there's so much ass here. He was like, it's not an exaggeration. It's true. And that was it. And we're like, is that why you came down here? And he was like, yeah, I just wanted to see game days. Fucking yeah. He was a TA and for like small classes, and one of his students was Todd Gurley, who's I think in the NFL now, right? I don't know. I don't follow any sports.
I don't follow. Yeah, but I don't follow him that close, man.
He was definitely their most valuable student athlete, and he was like their best. And actually, I think he was like suspended because he like accepted merch or like money or something. So, but he was one of Billy's students, and I remember I was like, Billy, that's so awesome, man. He was like, yeah, he's never showed up for class once. And I was like, really? I was like, God, that's gotta suck. And he was like, why? I just give him an A. And I was like, why? He was like, because I want the dogs to win. And I was like, you're part of the problem, man. I was like, you're part of the fucking problem. He was like, yeah, no, he's got perfect attendance. He's showing me on his laptop. I was like, but you've never seen him? He's like, never once. And he's like, no one says a word in the class. It's just, and I was like, you're part of the fucking problem. But I was like, good, thank you. But yeah, man, it's
Jesus.
Yeah, it's but I know what you're talking about, Rob, because they used to bring in like cops from like all over Atlanta for game days, because it's sort of like, yeah, it was like a redneck like mecca. You'd have like your normal rowdy Athens, but it's like the school's been there for 235 years. Like they kind of know how to handle these crowds now. It's just like they've adapted. Everything's just scaled up. More cops, more whatever. But yeah, when you'd all of a sudden, it was like putting a bowling ball on a mattress and everything falls towards it. It's like on a game day in Athens, all like the redneck satellite schools, GCSU, Georgia Southern, Valdosta, they would all sort of, you just get this pouring of just fat white guys in wife beaters and a bunch of Confederate flags on pickup trucks, and you would just sort of like a gravitational pull. It would just bring in these crowds. Yeah. That's all I got to really say about that. But so what's the it's always good to be positive and optimistic, but it's much more funny to be pessimistic.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Fuck you. What's the worst that can come from all of this? These riots. What's the worst case scenario? And not, you can't, no cheating. You'll be like, oh, nuclear bombs go off. Yeah, because, that's the worst. Yeah. What's the worst, though? Like, opening fire on protesters?
I mean, I think that's already fucking happened. Granted, I haven't.
Actually, I was just gonna say, I feel like there's been one or two, not like full blown.
No, I'm talking like I'm talking like Kent State, like Bloody Sunday.
They're shooting like non-lethal rounds or like rubber bullets at people and whatnot. Like I saw a news clip of like this girl who was just walking home from like the store with a bag of groceries, and she happened to be in the way where the cops were, and they shot her with a rubber bullet. I'm like,
you can't.
My concern is like especially cops. There's been like more than one instance of cops attacking foreign media.
Oh god.
Which is like, no way. There's no way you're gonna cut it where like that country's not gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? Because
this is how it starts. This is how it starts.
That's how it starts. Is like literally there's like Australians just like they were tucked around the corner. Clearly out of the fucking line of like protest, right? They're just like tucked in the corner, like filming, and this line of cops just came and just started fucking hammering them all on camera, and they're like yelling press or something. Shit. And,
dude, it's like
I feel like. Go ahead.
No,
Tom.
sure, man. This is your podcast.
I was just gonna piggyback on Rob's, man. Go for it. I'll piggyback off you.
No, I'll fucking.
I just want to say, like. I feel as if there's a disconnect between both, though. Like, cops need to understand that, the press is going to get there. They want their fucking story. They need to report shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, the press needs to realize, look, shit's heightened right now. Like, and I'm not negating like that cops should be allowed to go shoot rubber bullets at press, because I don't think that, but shit's heightened right now. Like they have to worry about their own fucking safety and everything. So maybe there needs to be some kind of like, I don't know, like course of action for press to take, like wear the fucking blue helmets, like, fucking NATO helmets over in a fucking war zone or some shit here on the streets of America.
Yeah.
Crying out loud.
Yeah. It's like that video of that white guy in the MAGA hat getting chased by a crowd of black people that take his hat and then beat him. And it's like outside of a library, and it's just a dude that wanted to go like march with them. And in his head, bless his heart, was like, I'm going to show him that like not all Trump supporters are bad. And he ended up just getting the shit kicked out of him. And it's like, on one hand, it's like, like that's freedom of speech. You cannot attack someone because you don't like them. That being said, on the other hand, it's like, dude, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
Especially like in this day and age.
Exactly.
Like, they're gonna just think you're a troll. Like unless you're
exactly
come out on some platform and everybody knows you're coming, and like you don't know.
It's like,
and I'm not justifying.
It's It's like a court of law. It's like, okay, there's a video, so in the court of law, yes,
they're gonna do a country like concert and be like, fuck country, fucking rednecks, fuck you, and not expect to get your
Bernie 2020, and then be like, they hit me.
I fucked my sister. Like, how dare you attack me?
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, it's true. It's like it's like in a court of law, it's important that like there's a video of this, and it's like, hey, in a court of law, like they're all going to be charged, and you're not, because that is freedom of speech. And it's like, I think we all do agree on like the technicalities. You're allowed to do that. It's like a couple days ago, some kid went to one of these protests and just started doing the Heil Hitler. And he was knocked out cold.
Yeah.
And there's an awesome freeze frame picture of him getting hit and his hair's flying. And it's like, everyone on Reddit was like jerking off, like, yeah, punch that Nazi. And someone was like, hey man, like, I don't like him as much as the next guy. That kid's gonna be able to press charges because that is freedom of speech. That being said, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen? So it's like, if you're going into that, don't go into it thinking like, you know, you can't walk into like a Taliban cave and be like, rules of engagement, you can't shoot me. It's like, yeah, rules of engagement, but like, they don't care. It's, you know, walk in a wild and be like,
subscribe to NATO's rules of engagement.
You don't walk into the wild and be like, you can't attack me, Mr. Kodiak Bear, because I haven't come onto your property yet, and this is a stand my ground. Just like rip your face off. Like, so it's, yeah, it's, you can. So back to what you were saying with the press, it's like, yes, you are in the right, and legally, that you should not be attacked because you're going to get, that is freedom of press, freedom of assembly. That being said, like, but at the same time, I'm just from all of my experience being in the press.
I guess it's for me. It's like, I guess some message must have gone out because like it seems indiscriminate. Like fucking Fox News has gotten attacked, so like it's like, you know, it's
how
like,
you know it's bad.
I mean? Go get him!
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. That's how you know it's bad.
Not me. Yeah.
No. Friendly. Friendly. Look at my skin. Yeah, that's what it is though. It's seriously. It's maybe that's the one maybe that's what gets this channel yanked.
Friendly.
They're all waving the white flag, but they're just like showing their white.
Waving a white kid, like
a little white girl with blue eyes and blonde braids. You're waving her. Friendlies. Oh my god!
Not just any white girl, like a Dutch.
Literally, yeah. You gotta have like the prop.
Like there could be no
the Hitler Youth. Like, what if it's like fucking. When I had Mike Durant on, I read his book like 4 times, but they talk about how like upset the Rangers were because you'd have these Somali guys with like RPGs, and they'd literally have kids hugging each shin, and then like one on his front, like a turtle shell backpack, one on the back, and so he'd be walking with kids, walking with an RPG, and the Rangers were like, "What the god damn it!" And eventually like. There'd just be some Delta guy that was just like, just light them up because, you know, fuck them. But what if it was like that in the protests? You had like a black reporter with a bunch of little white Dutch kids, and the cops are like, "Fuck!" You know, part of me wants to attack him because it's in.
How can we hit him?
Dude, I
just added. He's covered in kids, and then to protect his head, he's got a MAGA hat on. Where the fuck can we hit him?
Like, no shot! Yeah. No shot!
I just put my gun down, like I'm done. I'm seeing everything that I care to see. Fuck it.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then you'd see like radicalized white guys with a bunch of black kids hanging off of them. Guys, this might be the episode that gets us gone. We will regroup on Spotify and BitChute if this goes down. But yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ, what if they had like thermal vision? And never mind, I'm not even gonna go down that track. But
it totally just reminded me of the South Park movie, or fucking. The black squad had to like cover the tanks and the jets and shit.
Oh yeah, frontline infantry, and it's just all, you guys have been selected at random.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You know, part of me is like, it's so bad we shouldn't be saying this because I don't want to get my channel yanked, and part of me is like, it's even worse that's like the reality though.
Part of me is like, that came out in 2000, so like, that shit.
Yeah, that came out in 2000, and now it's 2020. How come things haven't changed? Maybe there does need to be protests. It's like, okay, 5th of a century later, the joke still applies.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But it's, so I was thinking like, if you're in the press, you definitely know you're gonna, and you know that it's indiscriminate ass beatings. is it? I mean, you're definitely always trying to get the story. I'm just looking at it as like an egotistical douchebag who's trying to promote my own podcast. If you're trying to get the story out there, man, it definitely helps if you can, like, you know, get your ass kicked by cops. I'm not saying that's what they're wanting to do, but I mean, goddamn, man, you want to move up in the journalism world. You go in there with wealth.
Reporters.
Yeah, right? You know, the reporter kneeling in the puddle.
Yeah,
you know, it's like that. Like,
there's still fucking people who want to actually, like, they're
get
not
the story
there
out
because of a click, or like, they want to know a story, or they want to fucking do shit.
Yeah,
and they've got the balls to go into places like that.
But it's good.
Like,
you do gotta go in, because you can't.
You have to know that for both sides of any conflict.
Yeah,
like,
you got to be able to.
Necessary. Yeah,
it's like in Vietnam. That was the first time we really started pushing back the media, because now that these color images and these motion pictures were being beamed into the homes of Americans, and all of a sudden it was like kids on fire from napalm, and it was like, what? This isn't, because up until then it was like, we're going to fight the Nazis. They're putting people in camps via trains and gassing them. We got to take them out. It was there's no doubt, you got to take them all out. But there's also a much tighter clamp on information. That's why the U.S. government.
Scientists.
Yeah, that's why you could put out propaganda.
Go back to paperclip episode.
Yeah, seriously. But that's why you could put out propaganda of, you know, Japanese guys with buck teeth and slits for eyes, and it's like, we gun bomb America, and it's like, we need to take them out, because there wasn't YouTube and Wikipedia and like a free flow of information. It was like, well, that's what it must be.
You couldn't call somebody over there.
Yeah, you couldn't call someone
like,
out.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, you couldn't.
You don't look like a poster.
It's like, hey, whatever, you know. Yeah. What's the difference between like
your buck tooth would be more pronounced.
Yeah. I mean,
should do that. Of like Skype calls between like Viet Cong and American, like, just person at home, and like the Viet Cong's like, why aren't you eating babies? It's 5 p.m.
Yeah. And the white guy's like, where are your fangs?
Like, you're not in a cave, like in a hole.
It's probably almost like, why are your buck teeth? And it's the same as like, what's the difference between like well-trained or, you know, what if they don't run? Then they're well-trained Viet Cong. Like, how do you shoot women and children? You lead them more, or you lead them less. It's probably just like, well, they don't have buck teeth. They probably just shaved them off. Like, but it's starting in like Vietnam. I believe it was Vietnam. That was when it was all of a sudden like, you know, you see these little kids on fire and their skin falling off their ribs, and it was like, ooh, wait, this isn't like, you know, send over the B-17s and bomb them back to the Stone Age. Like, you keep producing shells on the home front, we'll keep them firing. It's just like your straight-jawed white guy with a cup of Joe, and it's like, yeah, take out the Nazis. That was the first time that it was like, well, what are we doing? Like, these people literally, they have like rags and they farm rice, and because like Nazi Germany, they were more advanced than us. Japan, you could say probably that maybe the same, and it's like, it's kind of, they're the same as us, but all of a sudden when we're dropping like napalm canisters out of supersonic F-4 Phantoms on these dudes with wooden shoes, it was like, ooh,
that are farming fields and shit.
Exactly, kids that fucking have never seen a TV before. Well, so then, you know, you would think that that's when shit changes, but instead we just did the, you know, well, let's just put out the media so no one can see this, and continue trucking. It's like what Andy Stumpf, the SEAL Team 6 guy, said on Rogan. He was like, you don't understand, man. It's like, it's not like these people have disinformation over there. You go over and see farmers and you're like, you know, where can we find bin Laden? And who is that? The guy responsible for 9/11. What is that? He the attack on America. Who is America? You literally, you can't write or read. You can talk. You have a couple goats and like a kid. Like,
you've maybe seen a book 2 times. Like,
yeah. I mean, to the point where they used to go out and they didn't even, a lot of them, like, I think it was Andy Stumpf, it might have been someone that said, like, they didn't even understand that they were like, they were against us in war. They thought that was just something that was just going on. Like, oh, who are you guys bombing?
Well, because it was civil.
They said they used to go out and they'd put tents out in the middle of the night near like roadblocks just because they knew that bombs would hit them. Because then they would go out and they'd pick up all the scrap metal because they could sell the scrap metal for far more than their crops. Like, holy fuck. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, when that is the option for, like, the best source of income, like, dude, like, when I had that guy from the Israeli Special Forces, he was like, you know, this guy's from Israel. Like, the only people the terrorists hate more than Americans are fucking Jews. So he's like a Jewish Special Forces guy. And he's like, you know, it's my job. Like, I have to go blow the fuck out of people in, like, Hezbollah. But he was like, man, when you go and, like, capture some of them, he was like, you realize that it's like, well, why'd you fire the RPG at the convoy? And you realize it's because this is an illiterate guy who's been making 5 cents a day doing whatever for the last 30 years. And some educated terrorist said, hey, here's $500 if you go fire this RPG and you bring back pieces, or you bring back, you know, dog tags or a helmet, show me that you killed him, here's more money than you're going to make in the next decade. So now you have this guy who's got a kid and a wife, and you're like, you know, you never know when you're just going to fucking die from exposure over there. Now, that's like someone coming up to you and being like, hey man, I know there are a lot of protests going on out there, but if you wear a MAGA hat and go run in the crowd and get punched, I'll give you $50 million. Ooh, you know, I went to a private Catholic high school. I have a bachelor's degree, but $50 million? Like, I might die, but $50 million? Like, and that's when you're like,
$50 million can pay for fucking facial reconstruction.
Yeah, and if I die, it won't be my problem anymore.
I'll do it for $50,000.
Yeah, I would.
$50 million.
$50 million, bullshit, man. Fucking give me a fucking shopping cart of Hot Pockets, and we'll call it a day.
It's real.
Yeah. So, but when you get, that's when he was like, and it sucks because it doesn't matter whether or not this guy's some indoctrinated fundamentalist or if he is just some poor fuck who was dealt a bad hand. He was dealt, you know, a 2, 3, and a 7, and everyone else has aces. And he's like, whether or not, the reality is this guy's still shooting an RPG at my comrades, and one of us is gonna die. I'm gonna make it be him instead of us. He's like, it's a zero-sum game. But he's like, that's when you start to realize, you're like, oh, so there are truly insidious people, because the ones giving the money aren't stupid. Why are they giving money? Because they're not dumb enough to go out there and shoot an RPG. Like, and it's So it's like, I don't know, man. There are insidious, much more intelligent people at the top. So it's, I don't know how the fuck we got onto this topic, but it's something is going on, and it's, you know, maybe the wrong people are catching flack. And I don't mean that to justify anything or anyone, but like, about that video the other day of that fucking Trump tweeted, and it's that white guy, and someone's you know, they're holding their phone at their side, so it doesn't look like they're filming, but they caught this guy on, he's giving money to protesters, and he's going, all right, you guys, I want you guys on like West and 5th, you guys go up to 6th Avenue, there are some picnic tables there, here's a hatchet, if you break that up, now you're going to be able to smash some windows. And it's like, how, and it sucks because there are people legitimately protesting for the killing of George Floyd, as well as they should be, because it's 2020 and jokes from a 2000 South Park film are still applicable. Something's got to change. Who's that asshole, though? Who's that guy? Because that guy is the same as paying the RPG guy. Say, hey, you go do this, you go do this. And it's...
Who's paying that guy, though? That's what I'm wondering.
Who's paying that guy? Is that guy just a tool who's getting his rocks off? But yeah, the reality is just like he's too smart to go be caught throwing shit through windows, so instead he's paying, there's definitely someone that is smarter than him going, I'm not getting caught on camera.
Right, exactly.
So here's your suitcase of cash, go out with a bundle.
Well, have you seen the reports about like the pallets of bricks that have just been laid out?
Yeah.
Like across these cities and shit?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, how convenient.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But the creepy thing is there are videos of like Antifa guys kind of uncovering them, and it's like, what the fuck? But then there's also videos of cops taking them out of their trucks and putting them down. And it's like, some people are saying, here's some bricks, go fuck shit up. Some cops are going, here, give us an excuse to fuck you up. But it's, what is really going on? Because it's not, again, it's not the easy, those are the Nazis, those are the bad ones. It's like, well, who's doing what?
Yeah.
I don't know. JP, what were you going to say about it before I started really cutting you off?
I was just going to say, like, it's odd because it's like you have to take every piece of information nowadays with a grain of salt, right? Because I looked into that whole brick thing, and, like, there were a couple cases where legit, like, homeowners associations they're like, hey, we wanted to fix, like, the brand new fucking sign.
Yeah, it literally was just bricks.
Right, yeah. It's like, they were just bricks. And it's like, okay, but, you know, the timing is kind of off, and now we're seeing this, like, sporadically around cities and whatnot where there's civil unrest and what have you. So I don't necessarily remember where the fuck I was going with that, but it's just like, it's odd though, like that you have to question fucking everything.
Yeah, maybe it's good.
I think that's why things are so fucking bad as they are, honestly. And I mean, like, I'm not one of these doomers. I don't think like this is going to take America down or anything like that, but for fuck's sake, dude, like, and granted, I don't know what it was like back in the 1960s before they passed civil rights and all that other shit. Like, but this is as bad as I've seen it, and it's pretty fucking bad. But
yeah, but that's one thing I keep thinking of is like, we got through the 60s. Like, we can get through this. Definitely worse than anything we've seen, but like, we got through the 60s where it wasn't just like, hey, stop arresting us. It was like, hey, stop segregating us. Like, you know, shooting them with fire hoses. There was no question about police brutality. It was, and not only during that, you also have, I don't know, the fucking Cuban Missile Crisis. And then the next year, the president gets his head blown off. Like, and we got through that. So it's like, okay, we managed to like pump the brakes and let that simmer. Boiled over, sure. But we got through that. We got through 9/11. So it's like, it's not to downplay the seriousness of this. I don't think it's the end. I think it's certainly the Vladimir Lenin quote. There are decades where nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen.
Right.
It kind of seems like from like December till now, like shit has changed in an enormous way. Like in a drastic way. It hasn't been this accelerated since like 9/11. It was like 9/11, Patriot Act, we're at war, and it was like, you what? It's literally like you didn't know what happened before you could get your bearings. JP, did you freeze up? Yeah, but
no.
Yeah, I was gonna say with bricks, it's like sometimes it is just bricks. Like it, you know, it's like if something happened where all of a sudden mailboxes were used as weapons, it wouldn't be like, isn't that convenient? Mailboxes in front of every home.
MAGA bricks or are they bricks?
It's like, well, isn't this ironic? Mailboxes in front of every house. Looks like they should be picked up and thrown through windows. And it's like, those are mailboxes. Like, but at the same time, you also can't, because, and that's what I love about this is like, these aren't like secondhand stories or like, well, I heard and he said, she said. It's literally like, there's a video of a white guy paying black protesters to go do this. There's a video of two white cops unloading bricks from the back of a police vehicle. And it's like, those are two objective empirical pieces of data. What is happening? It's, and maybe that's just, maybe that is the nature of every big event, big prolonged event where it started for one reason, George Floyd. There were legitimate protests, but now it seems like it's like everyone's trying to come get their slice of the pie. Whether you're just looting, and you might just be looting not because you're a foreign agent provocateur. You might just be trying to get a new Xbox. Like, and I'm not saying that's good, but I mean, you might just be an asshole getting a new Xbox. Like, pretty innocent enough. Like, well, I mean, you're not innocent, like, but it's, you know.
Remember Sublime had that, like, song about the riots, like the 90s riots?
Yeah, April 26, 1992.
Yeah. And he's talking, he's like, everybody, finally we got our own PA. Where do you think I got this guitar that you're hearing today? Like, it's like legit, like, admitted.
Next
like,
stop I hit was the liquor store. Yeah, I finally got all that alcohol I can't afford. Yeah. All that shit.
It's pretty metal. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, you're right. You know, and it's like, what am I more concerned about? Because part of me is like, you can't fuck over all these small businesses. Well, they have insurance. Do you not think those premiums are going to go up? But then another part of me is like, where was this pearl clutching when the black guy got a knee to the neck? You know, what am I really behind? It's
you can be behind both.
Yeah,
you can not want someone to die, but also not want these small businesses. Like, that's where I'm at. Yeah. I don't think the looting is proper. But again, from like what's happened in Toronto, I know that like they figured it out that there was cops that were like starting the looting up here. Back, I know, in the G20, and they called them the Black Boots because they were so dumb they didn't change out of their uniform boots. So everybody was able to like line them up with the like these are issued fucking boots. Like, people aren't just running around, and not to mention there's 20 of you. Like there was so much from people taking, again, that was one of the first protests with like pictures and everybody had phones and shit like that.
Yeah,
so
that's the other like thing.
It is a tactic. That's
it absolutely
employed.
is.
But
Alex Jones covered that.
But it's kind of like chipping at the dam, you know what I mean? Like, and then blaming the dam on the engineers, like the failure on the engineer. It's like, well,
if
they had, it's like, I'm going to smash this window open and run away, and I know people are just going to fucking run in, because that's how people react verbally in like human behavior in large groups.
Yeah,
people go fucking crazy. You ever been in a mosh pit? Remember Suicide Machines, JP? That was just a band on a stage, and they made us do whatever the fuck they wanted. Exactly. They made us all run into each other.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But like, people are easy to manipulate in crowds sometimes. Yeah,
especially in crowds, man. Because that. I don't want to say hive mentality, because that's not necessarily what drives everybody to like go along with crowds. But it's just like,
you can definitely take it over.
I think it's a little bit of
like
both. It's a little bit of hive mentality, and it's a little bit of people taking advantage, like for whatever fucking reason, like they want to be heard or they want a new Xbox. I don't fucking know what it is, but
there is something where
psychology, when everybody around you suddenly starts doing something,
you do it.
Compulsions to not do that suddenly go, well, meh.
Yeah, right. You're right. But it is true. It's like think about how, I think Brian Reagan had a bit about this, or he talked about it on Rogan. He was like, there is something weird about like crowds. He was like, if I just came up to you and was like, scream, you'd be like, dude, stop.
Right.
He's like, but if all of a sudden you're drunk and you're in our house with like 50 other people and someone's like, let me hear you scream, everyone's like, yeah, like, why? You're just
that interaction doesn't happen one-on-one.
You don't even need alcohol. You just get someone going hard enough, banging their head, and you're like, yeah. But like, if you did it to me, I'd be like, dude, stop. Like, trying to eat a Hot Pocket.
Perfect. Like, these fucking riots are like perfect storm material. Like, record unemployment in your country, and then suddenly you give people something just
not only that.
It's you get
COVID quarantine
months on end.
Pressure cooking. You literally you're
literally all they've had is the internet. And so we know what that does to people, right? The internet and news.
Yeah. It's literally like we've been inflating this bike tire far past the amount of PSI it should have. And now someone's just like handing you a BB gun. It's like, what are you gonna shoot? Like, you're not, you're gonna shoot, no, you want to shoot the thing that's popping up. And it's like, and then you shoot it. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Ah, it blew up. Like, wow. It's, I don't know, but that's the one thing is like, it's almost like you can really tell how stupid some people are, and it's like, Because the stuff that's going on, these mob mentalities, these agent provocateurs, like Rob said, like, it is a tactic. Alex Jones, although crazy, he did cover it with the World Trade Organization protest in '99 in Seattle. And he's like, there are videos of guys, he's like, I think they're like Delta Force or undercover cops. They go break windows, and now all of a sudden you have justification to fire tear gas. Because if you're just firing tear gas at people protesting, you're the bad guy. But if stuff's burning, now people are like, hey, stop the burning. You're now the good guy. You're the savior. It's like an artificial redemption. So that is a real tactic. But like, it seems to somehow go under the radar. It's like everyone now has like 4K cameras, like at all times. That's kind of been forgotten because it's like, well, you know, we can turn off our body cams, but it's like there are literally videos on like Reddit right now of like cops looking both ways, making sure no one's around, and then like beating the shit out of a guy on the ground. But it's being filmed from like 9 different, and it's not even like people so hiding. Many. It's literally just people like
right.
it's a gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't seize it and be like destroy that because you can now live stream.
Fucking live stream.
Yeah. And it's so I don't know, man. It's maybe all this like dirty laundry has to be aired because now cameras are catching it. We can see the assholes paying protesters, and we can see the cops beating. Because all the cops are doing right now, when they are just beat, you know, the Australians just over there minding their own business, and it's like, raid! And they just go beat the shit out of them. It's like, that's caught on camera. Now that is like, well, maybe these protests, maybe we need these protests. Because why did that happen? And it's, I don't know, man. Keep talking. I gotta go urinate.
It goes back. Tommy and I talked about this last time. Like, and this totally goes against like my conservative ideology of like less government, but I feel like there needs to be like an oversight committee for fucking police, like somebody who's impartial, that is on the fucking job watching these guys all the time. Now, granted, that's a lot of fucking oversight that needs to be taken, but like I saw a video, and I'm not trying to dive into these conspiracy theories with you, Rob. I don't know how you feel about them, but I did see a video of some guy who had a mask on, he had glasses, he was carrying an umbrella in the middle of like a sunny day. Went over to the advanced auto place or whatever the fuck it was, and smashed the windows and then just walked away.
Yeah, okay. I think I've seen this video as well. And then someone was following.
Right, yeah. And this black kid was like, had the stones to like be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, and they followed him. The video that I saw was about like 2 minutes long, and this black kid followed him for like a long time. It's a fucking white guy with a gas mask and all this shit.
Yeah, I know. I watched the video,
Yeah, and it's fucking weird. It's like, okay, who is that guy? And I kind of dug into it a little bit, and there was reports, granted, you know, like, it's the internet. So like I said, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But there were people like, oh, this guy's a cop. And, you know, I was like, I mean, we have seen the cops fucking offload bricks
as well.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
It's I don't know. So I saw some quote a couple weeks ago on Reddit on talking about like LSD or something, and someone was like, it was a brilliant thought. Keep talking. I gotta take my meds. Sorry.
We're just in the middle of talking. Yeah.
That's why I take meds, because I do things like that.
I love how JP was straight up like, having like monologuing, and you just come in, say nothing, and then say, don't let me interrupt.
Well, it's Tommy's podcast.
Right, apparently.
Fucked up.
And it's gone again.
No.
Rob, it's your turn. You go.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, no, it's just like, again, I'm not one who's like, I'm not an anti-cop person. I totally understand. Like, but at the same time, I don't feel like cops these days are there. It's like if you had a plumber and like you expect the plumber's job is simply for you to call them and then to show up and then fix your plumbing. But instead, you call them and they may or may not show up. And then when they get there, they suspect your plumbing is something's wrong. You have illegal plumbing or some shit, and you're more nervous to like call them to come fix your plumbing than you are to just
you call the plumber yourself. And they show up in force and shoot your dog. You're like, hey,
right, exactly. Hey. You're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then, but it's also the same logic of like 100 cops, 1 bad cop, 99 good cops, but 99 good cops don't do anything about the bad cop. That's 100 bad cops. And it's like, well, if you just flip that real quick, 10,000 peaceful protesters, 1 asshole looting, but 9,999 aren't doing anything about the looting guy. Bam. So it doesn't work. But so I saw this thing, and it was talking about LSD, and it was like all psychedelic trips. They're like, psychedelic trips are like it's like you're looking out, I don't know, you're on some vantage point and you're looking out, it's at night, and you're looking out on like a 10 mile by 10 mile patch of land. You got hills, grass, a little village, whatever, but it's pitch black out. What a psychedelic trip is each trip is a lightning strike in a different area. They're all very unique, and they give you a different perspective, but they're all illuminating the same patch of land. Now, but you can have 1,000 different lightning strikes and have light cast on 1,000 different places, and not only that, you could stand on 1,000 different hills and look at it. So 1,000 times 1,000, that's 1,000,000 different images of the actual one thing. It's just one thing, but it flashes at night for a millisecond, looking at it from different areas. So from one side, you could see a pretty barn. From another side, it could be the shadow cast from a big tree that looks like a claw. Completely alien things, but they are, in fact, just the same thing. So I've been thinking more and more that, like, if you want to, you can look at this as these are purely peaceful protests, and that this is the national, martial law hammer of the government coming down. You can, if you want to, look at it as it was a peaceful protest, sure, but now they're looting businesses, so you got to bring in the strong arm of the military. Like, we're all looking at the same thing, and it just depends on where you want to look at it from. So I've been thinking about that a lot more and more. As someone who has voted on both sides of the aisle every 4 years, as my mind changes and as I experience different things and my wants and desires and what I value and hold important change, it kind of feels like that. Like, we're all looking through. It's not a stymied flow of information where, like, if I'm against the protest, but the only video I've seen, I've been kept in a bunker and someone showed me one video of a woman getting hit with a 2x4. It's not like, take down the protest. And it's like, well, you haven't seen the George Floyd video. Like, there's no restriction of information. We're all seeing the same shit. We're all looking at the same landscape being illuminated by, well, who are my friends? Are all of my friends liberal? And we're like, yeah, fuck martial law. Are all my friends conservative? And we're like, stop destroying these businesses, you assholes. What is it? Like, what is it? What is the actual objective landscape? Can that even be known? Or is that the human condition to always look at, you look at one girl and you're like, that's my dream girl, I love her personality, I want to marry her. I look at her and I'm like, man, this bitch is annoying. We're looking at the same person. One of us is like life partner. The other one of us is just like, go away. Go away. It's, so we're looking at the same thing. Can it ever be known what is the objective thing and what is just, we're looking at it from even just, rewind the clocks 5 years. If right now this was happening and it was under Obama, you'd have everyone right now supporting Trump being like, martial law, I knew it. Next thing we know, we're going to the FEMA camps. You'd have everyone that is for these protests right now being like, shut up, conservatards, like, we're doing this for safety. Or you could even, don't need to rewind it 5 years, rewind it 5 weeks. You shouldn't be able to tell us we can't go to work. We're going to march in the streets, end coronavirus lockdown. Fucking idiots, go back inside. Coronavirus doesn't care about your cause. 5 weeks later, why are y'all out there, millions in the street? This is more important than your job. What? You dumb liberals, you're telling us that we can't go to work and there has to be a quarantine and trust the government. 5 weeks later. You dumb liberals, now you're against the government bringing down the hammer when they're trying to keep us safe. It's like, which one is it? Is there an objective truth, or are we all just a bunch of egotistical, delicate douchebags dancing around saying, that's good, that's bad, that's good, that's bad, I'm always right, I can't be wrong?
I'd agree with the latter.
Yeah, especially, like, it makes sense, like, because we get the same thing up here. Like, just because it's Canada doesn't mean we're any
Canadian correspondent
different.
Rob Muick.
I think you get, like, because we have a lot of land, but we're all, like, the same country, you get these fucking, like, we get in bubbles, but they're gigantic, right? They're, like, cities wide, basically, where you get, like, we get so much information from what used to be considered foreign. Even, like, because, like, what the fuck, 100 years ago, did someone living in Georgia know what was going on, like, in Kentucky, for fuck's sake, like, let alone Washington, D.C., New York, California.
Hong Kong.
It just, exactly, fucking Hong Kong, like, anywhere. It's like, but it's happened in such a short span of time, and I think humans are so used to, like, it's either good or bad. It's black or white, and we have to, like, adapt our thinking, because I don't think the world is like that, and because just what Tommy said, every single person sees something a little differently. It's like, well, fucking obviously there's no, if there's three of us, we're all gonna look at that girl in a different way, which means there's more than even two fucking choices or feelings, or so then the fourth guy fucking comes and he's like, maybe he has the same feelings as the life partner thing, but there's, like, other feelings as well, you know? He's like, yeah, she's awesome, but you're right, she's annoying as fuck.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then,
so, like, there's all these, like, fucking mixes of shit. I think we gotta find a way to, like, come to a round table as human beings, but there's so many of us, it's like, fucking,
you can't possibly build a table big enough. That's the real problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not only that, is when you get the fourth guy coming in with his view that aligns with the first guy, well, now the first and the fourth guy, they're confirming each other's beliefs. And it's like, you know, it's like, as much as it's like, I try not to, like, whenever I have someone on that is, like, similar in belief to myself, I try to steer clear of politics because I know it's just going to turn into a circle jerk. At the same time, is there not a better, like, guilty pleasure than, like, hanging out with friends or family that have the same views as you, and you're all just, like, patting each other on the back?
Because humanity is fucking tribal. I mean, as far as we've fucking come, dude, humanity is fucking tribal.
It's tribal as shit. There's nothing better than just jerking off with a bunch of other New Englanders. But I mean, like, I know he's not the best, but how fucking good is Tom Brady? I know, right? And it's like,
but it's not yours anymore.
Yeah, I know, which is why he was the worst ever. He was never good. That's what I mean. It's just like that, right? It's almost like technology has gone from, like, tribalism to where technology used to be, like, you know, a club and a fence, but now it's like omnipotent eyes in the sky, and we can all see everything anywhere, and you can get on the cyber brain of the world with 7.7 billion inputs and share information. So it's evolved light years, but we're still, like, knuckle dragging like nothing more. And it's, Rob, you're right, it's, you know, it's like, if it bleeds, it leads, or, like, you know, negativity, you're always drawn to it, because it used to be you'd be in a small society of, I don't know, a little fucking tribe of 100 people. You don't necessarily need to hear about every good thing, because, like, good things are, it's kind of like a luxury, like, oh cool, you found an apple today, or, you know, you carved a cool arrowhead. When there is something bad, like so-and-so fucked so-and-so's partner, or so-and-so got eaten by a bear, it's good that if it bleeds, it leads, because everyone's drawn in, and it's like, what is this thing? What is this pain and suffering? How can we change it? Okay, we all saw the guy bitten in half by the bear. That was terrible, but let's all stay clear of bears. And because you're only in a tribe of 100 people, and you're surrounded by a relative ratio of bears, it's like, that thing happens, and then maybe it doesn't happen for another year. So it's good that everyone gets hyper-focused on this thing when it happens, because it's probably not going to happen again. But now with technology, we are still geared to look at the bad thing, but we are now getting inputs not from 100 people. We're getting inputs from 7.7 billion people. And it happens much quicker. So whereas it used to be we all see the guy with the bear, but then for the next 5 weeks and 6 days before the next bear attack, we see nothing but, like, happy tribes people hanging out with each other, and we're laughing and we're drinking and we're fishing and we're fucking and we're doing stupid shit and throwing dirt at each other. It's like you have these, like, these massive number of wonderful days, and it's punctuated by this one hyper bad thing. But Now everyone is getting all the bad things at once, and I think we're forgetting that, like, we're getting all this input, but we're not seeing the relative number of good things happening, because we don't see all the good shit, because it doesn't make the news. So it's like we're using this super evolved technological system and network, but we're still using, it's Joe Rogan that said it, or Duncan Trussell. He's like, we have like the ability to communicate at light speed, and we have this cyber network of brains. The vast majority is porn and gossip. Like, we have this super advanced thing, and it's like, yeah, that's the first thing you have all them. You just get $1 million. Do you go for world peace? No, get some hookers and a new Xbox. You're like, yeah, and it's like that's you're given the power of the gods, and you're like, oh, I'm a god, now I can jerk myself off with 3 hands, and it's like, god damn it, no, you could have cured the desire to even want to jack off, but instead you're like, so that's why I take meds.
That's why I take meds.
Yeah. But yeah, man, is that what it is? Are none of us looking at all the good things happening in the world?
Man, I tried. I'll be honest, like, I tried, because seeing this shit, like, it is fucking depressing, man. Like,
yeah.
Mainly because I saw, like, for the first time in a long time, I saw everybody pretty much on the same side of an argument. Like, police brutality needs to be addressed. There needs to be accountability. And then, like, in a fucking instant, it was gone. It was just fucking gone. And, like, now people are fucking attacking others for not saying the right thing on social media and all this other bullshit. I'm like, dude, oh my fucking God. Like, this is not helping. It's not helping the cause. Like, and then to be honest, like, admittedly, I have my own hangups and shit about shit. Like, I still have grievances with some of the crap that's going on during all this shit, as far as, like, approved speech and fucking opinions that you're allowed to have about certain organizations and whatnot. I'm not even going to get into it, but you can probably draw a correlation to what I'm talking about. But
yeah,
it's just like, dude, like, when I saw that, I was like, all right, I need to fucking focus on some shit. And it's exactly like you said, Tommy. Like, they don't cover, if it bleeds, it leads, like Rob said. They don't cover, like, I saw a headline about this African-American dude who was cleaning up his community around that fucking AutoZone place that got burned down. They were, like, afternoon they spent fucking cleaning that shit out and, making it, able to be renovated and fixed up. You don't fucking hear that in the mainstream news, right? Like, it was some fucking little puff piece that they put, and that's the other thing too, like, this whole mentality, like, oh, well, that's a puff piece. I'm like, why the fuck isn't that news? Like, why can't we fucking show how good humanity can be? Why are we always focused on the bad?
Yeah.
So, and I did that for a while, and then sure as shit, it's like, hey, fucking Yellowstone's been
rumbling
lately. I'm like, God damn it. God damn it. Stop it.
Yeah. It's literally, yeah, man, it's insane. Mm-hmm. It's insane. So, like, I don't know, man. It's like yesterday, like, I for the sake of just, like, poking, like, the hornet's nest, I posted a quote from Obama over the 2015 riots in Baltimore, and he was talking about, he was like, it is important to, like, enact change and to protest and to have your voices heard. And he's like, but those of you who are stealing, he's like, you're not pushing social justice, you're committing theft. To those of you burning down buildings, you're not changing the social landscape, you're committing arson. He's like, these very simple things. Like, I know you just punched that Nazi, but you're not making the world better. You just committed battery. And, like, and so I took that quote and I posted it yesterday just to see if I could stir the pot. And I very quickly, I got like 2 types of responses from people, like private messages. It was like, I know, man, right? Why can't people see rioters are bad? And other responses are literally just like, you racist fuck. And I was just like, it's the same piece of information we're all seeing with these 2 drastically different responses. And JP, it's like you said, there's that it's like this, like, beautiful thing. We're all on the same side. Police brutality is bad, George Bush standing on the rubble of World Trade Center 1 and 2. We're all on the same side. We're like, yes, we got to stop this. and how quickly it turned into like, wait, now we're going to Iraq? Why are we going to Iraq? Anti-war, pro-war, just like that, the division. And it's we're all on the same side. Police brutality is bad. They just burned down a Wendy's. Why'd you burn down a Wendy's? Fuck you, that's not important. We got to push for social justice. No, but I knew the guy that owned that Wendy's. Bigot, just like that. It's just, I don't know. It's in like, I don't know.
It's Reddit.
It's Reddit.
Like, it's Reddit. So like, I mean, your responses and stuff. Again, you're in a bubble of people who are a mix of just like regular people, fucking weird leftists, weird right wingers. Like, you follow the political compass memes. Right? Yeah. It's like, those are the fucking people you're dealing with. Why would you expect anything else? Yeah. They're not there for like enlightenment. They're there to fucking jerk.
Yeah. It's like,
and you are their fucking spread, right? Yeah. In that instance.
Yeah. And it's, I was thinking like, and I realized this as I was looking at all these posts over the last like 2 days. And it was all these like, I've thought about what I was gonna paragraph. I don't normally post on social media, but paragraph. And for a while I was thinking about like what I was gonna say about all these protests, and then it kind of dawned on me. I was like, I was literally just doing dishes, and I was like, who the fuck cares what Tommy's hot take is? And I was like, and then I realized, I was like, why do I care what anyone? You got all these people that like, and I realized maybe this is just me because I'm a fucking egotistical asshole, but I was like, in my mind, it's like, gotta put out my hot take because the people want to know what I'm thinking. And I was just like, how fucking inflated can my head get to think that anyone gives a fuck about me dropping my 2 cents on a topic I have no exceptional experience with? Do y'all ever get that? Do you realize, like, okay, I'm going to make my statement, and then just like, you ever look at someone else, like, I normally don't post on social media, and you're like, fuck off, I don't give a shit. I'm here for memes. And I'm like, is that me? Where I'm like, I got it, time to make my statement. And I'm like, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? The only people that are going to respond are the people that agree with me, and we're just jerking each other off because it's just patting each other on the back. Good job. You made the right opinion. You have right think. Do y'all get that? Am I boring you?
No, not at all. It's just, I'm fucking equally as guilty, and I do that all the time. Like, half the time I'm fucking thinking about posting something on Facebook, I'm like, no one fucking cares, dude. Just delete it. Like, and I'm
yeah.
Like, I'll write this whole fucking diatribe, and I'm like, is this too long? And then when I start questioning, it's like, no one fucking cares, dude. Like, who's gonna fucking like this shit? And like, I used to have. It actually comes from a history where, like, I used to have people who fucking commented on it, like, who didn't agree with me or disagreed, whatever, and we would have civil discourse. But then, shit, people just fucking stopped being my friend on Facebook. So, I guess I pushed too many fucking buttons or what, but it is, man. It's like self-aggrandizement at its finest, and social media is, I think it's exacerbated issues like this so fucking much because, you've given a platform for people to speak, but to be fair, not everybody deserves to be heard. Like, and I'm not saying like all opinions don't deserve to be heard. I'm saying like certain people don't know what the fuck they're talking about and should just shut the fuck up and sit down. So,
well, it's like in school, we're all in the same class, given the same fucking project, but not everybody's getting an A. You're given the same resources. You're given, everything is like fucking equal, basically. As far, if you're talking about like doing research on the internet,
it's like
everybody has access to it.
It's like middle school basketball versus varsity basketball. Like middle school basketball, everyone gets to play the same amount of time. They don't all deserve to play the same amount of time. Right. Some of us should just be never taking off our like practice pants.
Right.
Others should be playing all 4 quarters.
Some of us just played basketball for the sake of, being occupied during the cold seasons when soccer wasn't around.
Yeah, you're right. And I do think that everyone does deserve a voice. I think it's probably better that everyone can.
Your voice should only extend like as far as your rights or them being impeded on, unless you're a pro at something or like a scholar or like your shit. Like if you're a professional in your area or you have a lot of experience. Honestly, like most people should just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you should, but it's like I definitely
because like they're talking about shit that they don't. Yeah, that has nothing necessarily to do with. And this is like I'm not talking specifically about riots or like whatever. I'm just in general. People just chime in on anything because you know what I mean, and it's shut the fuck up.
But I think it's probably better that everyone has a platform to chime in on. Whether or not, instead of saying you don't know what you're talking about, you shouldn't get a voice. I think everyone should get a voice but sort of let the free market of likes and shares. If the person's a fucking idiot, you're gonna scroll right past it. Hey, look at this asshole making another post. I don't think anyone should say you can't, because that is the first step, and it always ends up leading in a year, 10 years, 20 years to 30 million people dead in some like communist dystopia. It always starts like that. So I think everyone should be able to make your little diatribes. If you think that person, it's sort of like vote with your money. If you don't like what they're doing, stop buying their fucking shoes. Whatever. If someone's an asshole that needs to like, well, this is what I think, that guy is kind of an idiot, kind of racist, probably got an extra chromosome. Just don't like it. Don't share it. Just don't give him any attention. It's once we say he shouldn't be able to say anything, that is the first step in, well, next, he shouldn't be able to say anything. And next, Alex Jones, fucking psycho. To ban him from everything
for me, it's not, like, I'm not talking about, like, controlled speech, as in, like, somebody is saying. I'm talking about a society in which people are more willing to be like, that guy's a fucking idiot. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I guess that's what I meant. Yeah. I didn't mean, like, you can't talk about this because you don't have experience. I just want more of a, like,
I want to clarify that, process. Too. Like, I want to clarify that, too. I wasn't saying that people shouldn't just...
That's how I took it.
Tommy, you're taking this out of context, but I'm saying, like, the way I put it could be taken out of context. That's what I thought you guys were saying. I thought you were saying some people shouldn't be able to. I was like, total agreement with Rob.
I was like,
go back to the school analogy. We're all fucking there, but we're not all going to get A's, right? Like,
yeah. It's
And if you really fucking bombed, then people are gonna take the shit out of you. Like, you should fucking expect it. Like,
I mean,
so there was this kid, and he caught some rye. Like, if that's your catch in the rye, like, report. You deserve it. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. You reap what you sow.
Fucking South Park again, dude. Butters kill John Lennon.
I think that. I mean, but that goes to like hate speech. Like, I don't think there is hate speech. I think there is one very simple thing where speech should be regulated. And it's if you are inciting or calling for violence of an individual. Hey, everyone, fuck this guy. Guest number 34. Remember him? He's an asshole. Here's his address. Go fuck him up. Here are his allergens. Go dump this shit in his... You can't do that. That's bad. But short of that, I think if you want to get on Facebook and just go on a racist rant, you should be able to shoot yourself in the foot, and rightfully so, lose every friend and probably get fired. And I think Facebook should be able to say, no, you can't do that because this is a private company. I think the idea that, like, again, everyone on the right, and I know this because I am more right, is people are like, government needs to take over like Twitter and Facebook because they're getting too powerful. They're censoring Republicans. They are censoring Republicans. They are private companies that can do that. Let them die. Just Dig went to Reddit. We had JP and I talked about. You had E-Bombs World. You had funny videos, stupid videos. You had Newgrounds. These things died and other things grew up. MySpace, Facebook. You are a private company. You should be able to censor if you want to censor. People should be free to go, hey, these fucking assholes are censoring. Go to a new website. That's what it should be.
There's a fucking cop-out, too, because everybody's like, well, you know, what chance do these other platforms have? It's like, well, if you get fucking pissed enough at Facebook and enough of you fucking leave, like, you can cause a movement and then go over to these other platforms and be like, hey, look, we got fucking free cookies over here. You
don't use that defeatist mindset of, well, what chance do we have to use? Well, dude, why don't you just go invite people to fuck your wife? Like, if you're that negative with your tail between your legs, like, how do you get out of bed in the morning? What chance does my podcast have against Joe Rogan? 0 to none. But I'm still gonna try. Like, go out and fucking try it. I just saw an interview with Elon Musk the other day from 2004, and it's like, young upstart rocket man thinks that he can go to space. And you see him, and he's like, well, I think one day when the government retires the space shuttle, NASA and the U.S. government and all the reconnaissance organizations are going to need a cheap and reliable way to get their cargo to space, and eventually, in time, with people. And I think if we could land our own rockets, we could do it much cheaper. And you can almost hear the sort of like, okay. And then it cuts to 3 days ago, Elon cheering as 2 astronauts are docking in the space station. And it's just like, fuck all of you. Like,
best fucking meme I've seen in the last week is like, you know, to those 2 fucking astronauts who decided to leave Earth, good fucking choice. Like, I'm like,
that's like leaving an abusive relationship.
It was like a company cake, and it looked like everybody was like cutting it with a knife, and there was one guy who was just holding his hand with no knife, and it was just like everybody, like SpaceX astronauts. Like, we're all in this together, guys.
There's another one where it's like the U.S. from 2000, because you know, like the tagline's been the first since 2011, the first American astronauts from American soil on American rockets. It's like we're autonomous. We don't need to fucking pay the Russians for Soyuz seats anymore. Which Putin was just going big pimping and just price gouging the fuck out of us. But it was the meme was like from 2011 till 2019. It was America. You know, space is beautiful. There are no borders up there. There are no nationalities. It's just we're all humans in zero gravity. 2020, when we finally get it. American rockets from American soil with American... and it's like, up until then, we're like, guys, it's space.
You guys had a good 10-minute run last week.
You guys had it. It's ours now. Yeah, seriously. 1969 to 2011, it's USA, US, and then it's, hey, we're one species, guys. We're all in this together. USA!
Either you guys watched that Space Force show yet?
No. I have not. I've been wanting to watch it.
I've been actually watching The Office for the first time because I'm about 15 years behind the rest of society. I'm on season 2 right now. Pam's about to get married.
You were on season 2 last week. You need to fucking.
I played a lot of Xbox. Speaking of being behind, I just started playing
roleplay or Office.
I just started playing Modern Warfare 3. You know, the game that came out in like 2004.
That goes online with the Black Lives Matter. He's just standing there. Someone drops like a fucking jet on him.
No, I'm so behind. I fucking go to these George Floyd protests with signs that say like, hey, LBJ, how many kids have you killed today? And I'm like, end the Vietnam War. Like.
Get out of Vietnam.
Yeah, everyone's marching for George Floyd, and I'm like, women's voting rights, like, you know, no more doughboys to the Western Front.
Bro, you want to talk about
tear down that wall?
Tear down that wall, Mr.
Viral marketing, do that shit. Holy crap!
What?
So you want to talk about viral marketing? Do that shit.
Yeah.
Start a protest.
Like, everybody's like, look at this fucking asshole.
No taxation without representation. Just, hey! Should go there marching in like a red coat with like a flute. Hey, don't let me keep you guys because you both look kind of bored with me and it's hurting my feelings. And
why do you always fucking say that, man?
Well, because what I do is it's fishing for compliments because I have a low self-esteem and I don't have proper healthy coping skills.
Suck, and I'm not bored.
Well, I'm so used to having on guests that, like, I don't know. And I'm always, like, I want to keep the conversation good and light. And, like, if they kind of look like they're trailing off, like, I don't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth. Like, so I'm like, hey, thanks for having... But then I have on 2 friends like you who, like, I just don't respect and care about. And I forget that I can just keep talking long past y'all are comfortable. So,
all right.
Here are my balls. But I've been playing Modern Warfare 3, man. And when I go on and I try to you have those like survival, like, you know, there's always, every game has that, like a survival. You can just go in and just see how many rounds you can last, and it's great because you can never win. It just goes till infinity. Mm-hmm. Well, I just started playing one, and it's Modern Warfare 3, and it's the survival map is Underground, and I'm so fucking behind on like just society that when I try to like look up like tips and walkthroughs, I can't find them because all these tips and walkthroughs were made before YouTube was a thing. So it's like I have to find it. It's like Newgrounds. And it's literally like installing Flash. It's like God. I have to go to like back when you'd like print off cheat codes. Like I literally have to go back there.
It's kind of weird that as soon as you said Underground, I like visualized it.
You did? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about?
It's just a remake of that game, right?
Yeah.
No, it is. It's not a remake. It's the same thing. It's that.
Are you playing the actual, like, legit fucking game that came out, like, 7 years ago or whatever?
No, Modern Warfare 3 came out in, like, 2005.
Jesus, was it that fucking old?
Yeah. Look it up, yeah.
2011, bro.
2011. All right, well, sorry. All right, but yeah, game 9 years ago. But,
still, yeah.
Yeah, but I've been playing that, and do you know what I'm talking about, Rob?
I know. Yeah.
I know the game. Yeah. So the reason why I haven't finished watching The Office is because I'm playing that. Literally, it's just...
You've been on Game Fact.
I don't know how you...
on Game Fact. Trying to figure the maps out with the fucking lines and dashes and shit.
What was the...
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Back in the day, going on Game Fact.
Yeah, what were like the...
They'd make the logo out of like fucking keystrokes and shit.
Well, what was the cheat thing you could use for N64? Game Shark?
Game Shark.
And it just had like cheats preloaded.
Cheating Shark.
You always see those memes, and it's like when I'm gearing up to really win, and you got like 10 Game Sharks stacked on each other. Cheats that no one knew you could get. Yeah, my parents would never let us get it, so we'd just have to have John print cheat codes off. It was brilliant. And I remember because I never knew how to print cheat codes off because they didn't know how to like copy and paste text. But I remember John knew black magic, so he'd just screenshot it and then print a colored image. And I'd be like, this motherfucker, he took the screen. And it actually... I'm so fucking behind. I remember in 2013, before one of my med school interviews, I had to send something to the school, and I had forgotten to do it. And I would always go to John's apartment in Atlanta the night before. 2 nights before, he would drive me to Hartsfield. I would take a flight to New Orleans, Miami, or Los Angeles. Those are the 3 schools I interviewed at because I'm so fucking smart. And it was the night before, and one night I had forgotten to, and I couldn't send this like thing. I had to like just kind of like confirm I was coming. And I remember like the internet was fucked up, and I like couldn't get it from my phone to John's laptop. And I remember he took it and just sent it over Bluetooth. That was the first time I had ever known what Bluetooth was. 2013, a senior in college. About to go interview at medical school, and I was like, it wasn't even just like, oh, that's what Bluetooth is. I remember telling my friends, I'm like, dude, my brother did this thing last night, and they're like, you mean AirDrop? And I was like, no, it was Bluetooth. And they're like, AirDrop, holy shit. Like, are you sure you should be a doctor, man? Like, it's the same thing, dude. Right before my interview at USC in Los Angeles, I still don't know how to tie a tie. I had a clip-on at bias. And I literally remember paying the cab driver extra. I'd be like, hey, can you park? And can you tie my tie? And he was like, si, senor. And I was like, I don't know how to tie it. And he was just, so he got out, and it's just me and this little like Hispanic guy in like a wife beater. And he comes out and he's looking at me. He's like licking his hands, doing my hair, and like does my tie. I gave him like $50. And I was like, thanks, bro. And like, yeah,
good man. Yeah,
I bet I didn't get into that school. I'm guessing maybe one of the interviewers were like, "Who's that dipshit? Is he coming in here? Cross him out, man. He can't tie a tie. No fucking way he's getting a stethoscope." Yeah, but what the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, so that's Bluetooth, The Office, and Modern Warfare 3. So I'm living in 2005, 2010 right now. Yeah.
Dude, no, I had the same thing. I recently bought I had to replace my fucking gaming headset.
Mm-hmm.
These are Turtle Beach. Turtle Beach is a shit company, by the way.
Is a shit company or is the shit? Wait, you say it's a shit company or the shit? Yeah. Two drastically different meanings. A shit company.
They're bad, yeah.
This podcast not sponsored by Turtle Beach.
Right.
Friendship with Turtle Beach ended.
I used to have, like, my old headset had, like, fucking 3 different wires that came out of it, and, like, I had to plug it into the Xbox and, like, the monitor and shit. It was really fucking weird. And then, like, I had to buy these, and I was totally blown away. Like, my friend recommended them. He's like, dude, if you only got $20, $120 or whatever, like, I recommend these. They're fucking wireless and shit. And they're awesome, but I had to learn how to use, like, Bluetooth with them. I was like, how the fuck do I set up Bluetooth on these fucking on my system? Like, I don't know how to fucking do that. He's like, oh, it's real fucking easy. And, like, it is. It took me, like, 2 seconds to do. I just had to...
You can
hit a button on there, but
are you on what, PC or console?
On console, but I also have it linked to my PC now, so like I can sit here and game and actually listen to, like, what's that?
You can do Bluetooth and console?
Yeah.
How?
It's just that's the way it is now. I don't fucking know. Like, dude, technology.
I've worn like headphones twice when gaming, and I love it because it's so loud and I don't disturb anyone. But I don't know how to do it. But I have an Xbox One X. I have the newest system. I should be able to use Bluetooth.
Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah.
But do I have to have gaming headphones, or I just have Bluetooth Bose? Can I use these?
I mean, I don't know. It might be specific Bluetooth capabilities with like only Xbox.
That's some
affiliated.
That's some bullshit. Yeah.
But I mean, I have Bose headsets too that are fucking Bluetooth. I'll try them out if I can get them to work on mine. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I use like Bluetooth for everything, and I was like, why don't I ever use headphones for gaming? Instead, I'm just turning it up like a moron, like it's 1995. And so I started trying to hook up my headphones to it, and I realized I couldn't. I didn't know how, and I was like, there's no way in 2020 consoles don't have. But I guess that's probably it. I guess it's probably fucking like exclusive to some gaming headset.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is way like I don't know anything about Bluetooth technology, how you fucking like engineer it or whatever, but I imagine that there is firmware things that like prevent all types to fucking work with the same one.
So stupid.
I have mine just like plugs in with USB. Like because I have PlayStation, so it's just like a USB drive. You just plug it in and then it connects.
PlayStation, you fucking communist!
Jesus, Rob, God damn it.
No, fuck that, dude. I want a PlayStation so goddamn
bad. Dude, PlayStations have the fucking processing power of a supercomputer. It's something us Xbox people don't like to admit. What?
I think the 5s will. The 4s are like... I think if you get a Pro, they're pretty good. Mine gets, like, choppy sometimes.
Yeah. I have an Xbox One X, and that thing can fucking cure cancer. I love it.
My Xbox One X gets choppy too with certain games, so I think it's just
maybe it's because I'm playing Modern Warfare 3. I'm like, this is so smooth. Yeah, it's like, yeah, man, you're taking a Lambo through like a 4-mile-an-hour course. You're like, it doesn't stutter. Wow, like, jeez, man, who would have thought? You're shooting armor-piercing ammo through a tissue. You're like, it doesn't even stop. It's Rob, are you gonna get the PS5?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like I've had PlayStation since PlayStation 2s, I think. So
we got it too.
It's just I had it, and I had a 360 for a while. I think I had it near the end of its life, so it wasn't. I just played like a bunch of exclusives, Mass Effect on there as well. That was like years ago now.
Do you think
now? Yeah, just a PlayStation 4, and I'll play emulators on my laptop. Because my PlayStation controller just plugs in to the PC as well. Yeah. So it's super. It's like an Xbox controller, similar probably.
Do you think there's going to be compatibility between PlayStation or Xbox, or do you think that dividing thing is probably profitable for both?
Yeah, it's profitable for both of them, unfortunately. Because, yeah, I would like to see that day. I mean, there's not really much of a reason they can't interact.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
The new Modern Warfare game, they have cross-platform.
I'll play that
on the multiplayer.
I'll play that in 2030.
It's fucking seamless though, man. Like I was curious how they made it work, and apparently, like instead of using like your gamer ID on your Xbox or your PlayStation console, you use your EA ID that allows you to play. Yeah, so it's pretty seamless. It's pretty cool.
You just use your COVID vaccine microchip.
Yeah, when they come out.
Yeah. Dale, the Delta Force guy, Dale texted me the other week. So Dale has lived in Bali for the past like 10 years, and he came to Florida to visit his daughter, and the next day there's the COVID quarantine. So he's been stuck here since then.
Fuck.
He literally lives in like a tropical island with like a smoking hot wife. He lives in paradise, but now he's stuck in Florida, and that has been for like 95 days. And he's like, I'm starting to go crazy, man. And
what is this shithole?
Yeah, what is this shit? What is this country? Oh yeah, but yeah, oh yeah, forgot. But he texted me. He was like, "Man, I've been having dreams about going back to Bali when coronavirus is finally over, and then I can't go back because I don't have the microchip." He's like, and then I wake up in a cold sweat, and I'm like, it's like, fuck Bill Gates, man. I was like, fuck yeah, Dale. Yeah. It's I don't know, man. I forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it. Do you think
we were talking about games?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, have you played Far Cry?
Which one? Yeah, a bunch of them.
5. I played 4 and 5.
5. 5's the one that takes place in the States, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the last one I played was the fucking, I guess 4. Yeah.
India.
Far Cry 4.
You're in like Nepal.
Yeah, in the mountains and shit.
Yeah, that one was awesome.
Like little helicopter thing.
Yeah. Little.
Yeah.
That's what I like about 5 is you can just get a full-on helicopter. It's not some bastardization like child project. Some like soapbox racer thing. It's you can get like actual Hueys and Apaches. I guess if you haven't played it, I can't fucking talk to you about it. But
yeah, you can. I don't care about spoilers.
No, I don't want to spoil it, bro. It's
I'll probably forget about it and then play it and be like, oh yeah,
wow.
So it won't spoil it.
That's how I am too. Like I had somebody spoiled Joker for me, the movie, because I still have yet to see it.
How do you spoil Joker? How do you spoil like remakes? Or is it its own film? I haven't seen it.
It's its own film, the one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
So apparently there's a big plot twist at the end. Someone spoiled it for me. And they were like, oh shit, you haven't seen it yet? I'm like, I'll watch it and I'll probably forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, dude, that's how I am watching The Office. Like, I know what happens, but I still don't know what happens.
Right.
Dude, I read that.
No, I tend to pick up on things, too, in, like, movies, like subtle hints.
Exactly. I'm like that, too. I'm not usually super surprised when the surprise happens. I'm like,
what are some surprises in movies that actually, like, head fucked you?
I think when I was younger, I think before I had seen shit. But you get to a point where you've seen so many stories.
It's
like watching like Law and Order. By the 80th episode, you're like, okay, who's the most unsuspecting person? It was them.
Right.
Like, the creepy guy in a trench coat, he's not the flasher.
Like, seared into my skull of like the first time a movie was like, holy shit. It was the first time I saw
The Departed.
Demolition Man. I don't know if you remember that movie, but like some dude gets like fucking, I think it's Demolition Man. Some dude gets like frozen solid and just fucking kicked, but the ice is all like bloody and shit. And I was just like, whoa!
I don't know, man. The Departed. That was, I think, the first time I'd ever been like, when the elevator door opens and DiCaprio just gets a bullet through the forehead.
Oh man!
I remember watching that and being like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, fuck!
You're like,
not Leo!
You're like, what? And then like 2 more happens and you're like, no! Yeah, even the Tarantino movies, you get used to it. You're like, everyone's gonna die. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of how. Hateful Eight. Did you guys ever see that?
Yeah,
I did.
That one, I think that one had some like good twists. I was admittedly surprised for like a lot of it in the dark, kind of stupid. Have you ever seen Observe and Report with Seth Rogen?
Yes, that's a fucking twist.
Yeah.
Was that the mall cop one?
Yeah.
I have not seen that one. No.
Dude, that one you should see.
That one. I remember the ending of that, watching that with my buddy Zach from Pius. Right. We were living in the frat house. It was 2011. And that movie had kind of gone under the radar. But at the end, and I was just like, being like, holy fuck. Yeah, that's a movie that had a bizarre ending. What are some other ones that just really absolutely did not see coming?
The first one that blew my fucking mind was Fight Club. And then
it's him. But I feel like even that trope has now been worn down. It's all a dream.
Yeah. But I showed that to my friend at work not too long ago. He had never seen Fight Club, and no shit, like maybe about a month ago he watched it. And I was like, did you see any of that shit coming? And he's like, I didn't see any of that shit coming. I was like, that's fucking crazy, dude. I was like, did you see any of the fucking blips of Brad Pitt, like in the first 10 minutes of the movie? You know, like where they just show like still frames of Brad Pitt and whatnot.
Oh, I didn't. I still didn't know that.
I was like, yeah, go back and watch it. Like you'll pick up on a lot of like subtle hints.
But are there any movies that like, so you watch it again and you're like, you see it coming? What are some movies where you still don't see that coming? I still don't see DiCaprio getting shot in the head in The Departed. It's still like it just happened.
Yeah.
They just decided, they're like, take him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, again, Tarantino movies, you come to expect it. Did either of you guys see Uncut Gems? JP, you said you got to go at 1, right?
Around 1, I said I was going to. That kid hasn't hit me up yet, though, so I'm actually going to text him real quick. But yeah, I don't have to leave at 1. So
all right, yeah, because I got nothing to do. I just got a hot new game, Modern Warfare 3, and a 6 series called The Office. So stay tuned.
Hot game.
Yeah, hot new. Not only that, though, I'm not even watching it on Netflix. I'm watching it on like a Google Drive folder where it was ripped from probably like LimeWire. Like, yeah, you could probably pay $1.50 and get them all. But I'm really going for the full old school experience. Yeah. Sometimes it loads, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. It's I was trying to think what are some other. I remember in second grade I wrote a story, and it was just some stupid fucking out of the mind of a second grader. It was like surfing and like drinking a chocolate milkshake and then like swimming down to the bottom of the Atlantic and like bringing up the Titanic just like by myself. Just some stupid fucking story. But I remember it ended with like, and then like I jumped off the deck of the Titanic into the water, and like right there was a great white, and it opened its mouth and and then I woke up in my bed. But I was like 7 when I wrote this story, and I remember my mom kept it because she was like, your teacher was so like, how the fuck did a 7th grader write this? Like, she was like so impressed. But apparently like she told me that, and so for like every assignment for like the next 6 years would always end with, and then I woke up, and she was like, you can't, it's not an A, that's not an A anymore, dude. That was a 1 and done. And then I woke up. Nope, it's not there anymore. It's like M. Night Shyamalan, like, what's the twist? This is all just a fever dream. I'm jerking off in the porta potty. Like, no, it's not. This isn't funny anymore.
There's a game that came out that was kind of like that. It's Jesus, what the fuck is it called? Hellblade.
Big Dicks Incorporated. Oh.
Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. I think it's on PC and Xbox. I'm not sure if it's on PlayStation, Rob. But the whole premise behind it was like this girl is dealing with like psychosis, and the entire fucking game you hear like these voices talking to you, and it's kind of like fucking jarring playing that game. But it was pretty dope. And at the end, like the end was kind of obscure. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And like I had to look it up on the internet. I was like, what? Explain the ending of this fucking game to me. Like, so essentially you go out like searching for, like, she goes through a traumatic event where the love of her life dies, and like this is like Viking times, right? So she's like a warrior and shit. And she goes on this quest, and like you find out like, oh, this quest was really just her trying to fucking deal with her demons and whatnot. Yeah. So
Black Ops, the first Black Ops, that kind of threw me for a loop. The numbers, Reznov, and he's like not actually there. I'll admit, I didn't see that. Yeah,
that's good.
Played that for the first time back in February.
And who said no Russian?
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, is that from it?
Yeah, that scene where you have to like go in the
airport,
fucking slaughter all those people.
Wait, what'd you say about no Russian?
Oh, hey guys, what are we doing?
Wait, I'm confused.
Firing into the air every so often. Yeah, I'm killing people.
This is totally. We're doing it. Isn't it great being a terrorist? Yeah. Where are we going after this? Bet we're gonna go poop on the Americans, right? Right? It's adjusting your mic. Wait, but what did you say about no Russian? Is there something tied into that from Reznov?
Isn't that like the whole storyline?
No, I thought no Russian. I thought no Russian was just Modern Warfare 3, not Black Ops.
Maybe. There's been so many of them.
I thought you were tying in no Russian to Reznov, saying that was all an illusion. I was gonna say I didn't know that, but now
isn't that the story? Like,
no, Black Ops came out after that. And it takes place like 30, yeah.
It's like they all just fucking run together.
Blend. You just shoot the bad guy, yeah.
And then the Battlefield guys came in, and
yeah, it's
that happened, right? Bad Company, yeah, they showed up.
Yeah. Black Ops
loved Bad Company.
Black Ops,
such a good game. I love that like format of gigantic fucking maps.
I never played Bad. Is it good?
It's my favorite. Like I don't really like high-paced, like fucking constant shooting first-person shooters. I like more tactical, take your time, deal with a group as a team, kind of shit. Yeah, and then once you get a good team, you're fucking like,
right.
You have a lot more fun.
That was one thing why I always liked the Battlefield franchise over Call of Duty. Not knocking Call of Duty because I really think you're comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, they're different products.
But Battlefield, man, like. When Battlefield fucking 3, I think, came out, no shit, me and like 4 of my squad mates, we all took off that week. I made pasta so that we wouldn't have to order out for food, like a big fucking vat of pasta. And when I say pasta, I mean like the sauce and the meatballs and all that shit. We literally played that game, no shit, for like 5 days straight. And we were all fucking huddled around in my living room. We each had our TVs and our Xboxes hooked up. We were all fucking squatted up and shit. It was some fucking good times, dude.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, Bad Company was like the more, with Battlefield 3, they took like a more like serious approach, I guess. And Bad Company was just like, hey, let's fucking hang out with these ragtag fucking, degenerates in the army as they go looking for gold.
Because I think at that time, at that time, there's more of a... Oh, did we lose Tommy?
What? I'm here.
No, he's
there. I lost the video.
I'm just having a stroke. I'm stuck. I'm gonna go piss.
Yeah, I think there was like more of a push. I remember people like demanding storylines again. Mm-hmm. Remember around that time? That was when like Modern Warfare and all that kind of shit had just like the main storylines were just like, do these 3 levels and then play online. Like most people weren't even doing the online or the single player shit. But like Bad Company, I played Battlefield. What was that? Like 3 Bad Company or 2 Bad Company?
Yeah, they had 2 Bad Companies before they just went back to like the main one.
Got it.
And then
Bad Company getting into like recon fights. And they're like real. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like they take like 15 fucking minutes for one guy to die because you keep like moving location.
Right, yeah.
Everybody's like constantly trying to flank each other and shit.
Right.
And, like,
Yeah, that was the other thing too. Like, fucking gamers can be like just assholes, as everybody fucking knows. But with Bad Company, man, when I used to play that online, like I get into sniper fights with like people, and I remember this one game that I played, this kid and I, like, we were just toe to toe. Like, I sniped him. He respawned, sniped me, spawn back, snipe him, back and forth. And eventually I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get this kid's dog tags. Because that was, like, the big thing. Like, they had a list of people's dog tags that he took.
Yeah, I remember.
And I went and took his dog tags. And then, like, we started sniping out, and then he just decided to do the same thing. I'm like, motherfucker. And at the end of the game, he, like, sent me a message like, dude, good fight. I'm like, yeah, it was a really good fight, dude.
I always had those in Battlefield, but I never felt like I had the same shit. Like, when you can knife a million guys in a round in, like, Modern Warfare. It's just, like, fucking running around going like this. There was only one time I ever remember having, like, a run like that, is somebody planted a respawn, like, one of the Rangers planted a respawn on the top of a building. So they kept jumping off, trying to get the point. And I was fucking running around the bottom of this building with just a pump action shotgun. And as they drop off, I fucking blow them away. I racked up like 13 kills in like a couple of minutes. And then they're like, all right, let's stop respawning. It's like fucking team wipe. Yeah,
I love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I thought the whole idea of like, oh, there's some fucking prick who's like sitting in the corner of a fucking building, I'll just blow the wall up and shoot his ass. I'm like, all right, that's
cool, what I like to do. Yeah, like calling a mortar strike. Like, I love that you could do shit. Like, even if you were a camper. If some guy's like camping out in some like glitched out area on a hill somewhere and you can't hit him with bullets, you're just like, all right, mortar strike. And then you see him like struggling, trying to get the fuck out of there.
Eat my steel rain, bitch. Fuck you.
Right,
Eat my steel rain.
Tommy, I think you would have liked that game. Just because like the shit you like used to have do you remember that like swamp level? Or it was like the jungle, half jungle, half swamp.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. That, there was only one person. And so, like, basically the first squad that jumped in the personnel carrier would just, like, try to fucking run around and wreak havoc. But then there'd be ATVs. And so people would, like, slap C4 on the front of ATVs and just fucking hop off them and, like, boop. And they'd fucking blow the ass end off the personnel carrier. Like, there's so much shit you can do like that.
Yeah. That's what I was playing, like, the Just Cause games. I was thinking, like, it seems like there's almost, like, a predictable progression in video games. It's like the maps get bigger. The graphics get better. Now you're at like 4K, 60 FPS. The new consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X, are supposed to be 8K gaming, which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
And it's so graphics, physics, and then the map size just gets enormous. But like, I was thinking, what if instead of those parameters, you change something else? Like, what if you just kept, what if you just used all this juiced up console power, like kind of like me playing an Xbox 360 game on an Xbox One X, how it's free to just run it just with no problem. I was thinking, like, what if instead of changing those variables, bigger game, better graphics, better physics, bigger map, what if you kept it like you just chose like a random benchmark, say Modern Warfare 3, say Just Cause 3, 2015. But if you just chose that and said, we're going to keep the graphics at this level, we're going to keep the map size at this level, and we're going to keep the physics at this level. So then what are we doing with this new machine that can handle 100 times this? What if you took it in a different direction? And instead of, like different games, there are alternate endings, you can take different paths it affects the outcome. But ultimately, none of these games have more than like 5 or 6 outcomes, and you can just YouTube them.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what if you made a game and you used all that extra juice, and instead you had a game that there was literally like 1,000 different outcomes? And I don't just mean like subtle outcomes. I mean like, there's always like no friendly fire. Like you can't kill the mission or the game sensitive character, or if you can kill them, it's just you failed and you start over. What if you really could? In like the opening act, you could just shoot, let's say it's the equivalent of like Lord of the Rings. What if you really could just shoot Gandalf? But now the entire
game. Do you know the game Undertale?
No.
Okay, so it's like this super low fucking 2D. It looks like. Do you remember that RPG Mother, or like what was it called? Earthbound in North America. It's like an old. Looks like a Nintendo game. Basically.
Earthworm Jim.
But you can play it so that you could like literally kill everybody in the entire game, and it does change the game. Like different things happen and different, or you can play it where like you're pacifist, so you just try to talk your way out of every single situation.
That's what I'm talking about.
But like it exists, but it's so like low fidelity right now. You know what I mean? Like and it's like indie game makers mostly doing that kind of shit with massive trees that like branch off into different storylines and stuff.
That's right.
So I think we will see it.
Yeah, it's like you guys were just kind of talking about it with like shooting through walls or like the ATV with C4. Like Just Cause like 4 or 5, or Just Cause 4. You have like rockets that you can like place on stuff like up to like 10. Then you can have 10 separate balloons, and they can be like indestructible or not. They can have like a height of like 5 meters, 10 or 15. You can have them explode at the top height or not. You can have them be indestructible or not. They can be helium or explosive hydrogen. But it's all these, and you can make them like explosive or tether. So by having 10, 10, 10, 10, you have 10 times 10 times 10. So you have 1,000 different outcomes of what you can do with these thrusters. So like you can play the game and like, sure, you can just do the storyline and you get the fighter jet. Or you can get like, what I'll do is I'll get like a city bus. I'll put like balloons on it, and then like I'll airdrop in like an AA gun, and I'll tether the AA gun to the top of the bus, and then I'll put rocket thrusters on the back. So you're literally just like flying at like the canopy level above a jungle and like a burned out city bus with balloons and an AA gun. And it's like it's no better than a helicopter, but if there's something about it that like you built it.
Also not worse.
Yeah. Well, it kind of works. You can like, you can put like a balloon on a tank, and you have like a thruster, and you're like going over, but it's really crude because if you don't put the thruster in the middle of the center mass, it will spin. So you have,
If you fire,
well, you don't know really, but if you fire, it flies backwards, and you gotta like stabilize it and shit. And but it's fun as fuck because you can do shit like that. Blow up gas tanks, and you can ride them like rockets, and you can direct them, and you can turn just like propane tanks into like ICBMs. You can literally hit shit on the other side of the map, like 30 kilometers away. It takes like a minute and a half to ride there, but like. It's almost like the way that when you make these games kind of more open-ended, you don't just have like the GTA, you blow up a car, it's the same animation, versus when you have stuff like we can hit the APC with a rocket launcher, or we can strap C4 to an ATV and take it out. You have all these sort of open-ended ways of doing it. What if you did that with a storyline where it's like there's not just like 5 scripted ends. You'd almost just have to be like you don't script all the different things that can happen in these open physics games. You just have the physics laws, and then shit blows up. They're obeying the laws, but you're never really going to see the same explosion twice. That's what I was thinking. Like, what if you could almost not have the same playthrough twice? Like, depending on who you killed, and sometimes it'd be like an accident. It'd be like an escort mission, and like,
hey, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Fuck you. But like, what if you could have? That's what I was thinking. Like, what if you could have that many outcomes, and you would just choose like a decently graphic, like Grand Theft Auto 4 came out in 2007. Like, shitty graphics, not really bad, but it's 3-dimensional. Like, okay, that's good enough. Like, what if you did that, but you could play the game, you could go through the campaign every week for a decade and never see it play the same.
We'll probably see something like that in next gen. It's going to be like a perfect storm of technology and whatnot. Yeah. I'm sure we'll see a couple. You know what I mean? It's like, because like, listen, if you just took like the combination of Fortnite, Minecraft, GTA, and like any other like military shooter and a driving simulator and put them all together, you know what I mean? Like that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
that's insane. Because you take Minecraft's like ability to make anything out of anything, right? And then like Fortnite's ability to just like physically build shit quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also have that like weapons or like combat missions, all sorts of things in a world like that's persistent. You could have the world so fucking big that like it's almost basically the continental United States.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. You know what I mean? And you're like, I'm going to Idaho.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my, like, fucking area in Idaho.
You and your friends could go to Idaho and just build
Oklahoma. Some Oklahoman bastard is like, we're riding to Idaho.
Yeah.
Fuck
we ride at dawn.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it would just play out in ways that, like, you wouldn't know. It would just...
Yeah.
Like, what if you almost made, like, one cloud computing game? And yeah, you had, like, Flight Simulator. You had, like, Forza. You had, like, Grand Theft Auto. You'd have all, like, the Sniper Elites. How you can, like, mod guns for, like, different, you know, wind conditions. Yeah, you choose all these simulators. Truck Simulator, Train Simulator. All these, like, physics games. And then tie them all in to one. And it would be... Maybe there wouldn't even be a campaign that has different endings, so much as it would just be see what happens, see how it evolves. You know, like running simulations. It's like some red alert games. It's like, you know, if you do this early on, it will 99 out of 100 times lead to this outcome. Like, what if you just had, it wasn't even like a set, yeah, there was no campaign. It was just, you'd put them on like 100 by 100 mile map with all these out, and then just be like, let's see what happens. Do you go solo? Do you band together with other people? Like, there is no defined outcome. And then once it got, like, almost unchangeable, you just reset it.
Well, have you ever heard of the game EVE Online?
I've heard of it, yeah.
So, like, that's kind of basically what you're describing happened there, essentially. There's, like, nothing really to do when you start the game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can do anything. It's just, like, go around the universe, like, try to trade things or try to find a job doing something. Like, it's basically hustle, trade, war, fight, like, get a ship, start a crew. And then there's guys who have, like, fucking space stations that literally are worth, like, in-game trillions of dollars, right? But, like, they've somehow become the overlords of that game. And they have, like, gigantic fucking space battles and shit where, like...
Didn't one of those make
like,
the news?
Thousands of... What?
Didn't one of the... I remember me and John looking at it. Didn't one of them make the news in, like, 2013?
So.
Those big... Yeah. There was big something like cargo ships that had real-world values. And like, and in like 5 games, only one had ever been destroyed, and it was an accident. Yeah. And then in one night, like 75 were destroyed. And there was like a real world. There was like something like $40,000 US. Like it was in the news. Do you not remember that, JP?
No, I've heard about it, but
it was like the EVE Online battle. It's like, what are the ships called? Like Titans or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yeah, it was literally like. The Titan drivers are just like, we're simple people, like we're space truckers, and it's like somehow something happened in one of these alliances and backstab to the point where like it was on the news. It was like real world news, not the game. It was like tonight on Fox, $40,000 were lost
in a video game.
Yeah, man, that's what. Do you think that's just what it's gonna get to when there's like nanobots building everything, running on cold fusion and solar power? Like, we've mastered genetics and biotechnology and all those third wave technologies and got rid of like death, disease, and suffering. Poverty's no more. There's complete social justice, equality everywhere, universal basic income because we've become gods. There's no need for resource scarcity anymore. All we're gonna do is just start playing games. Because we're not all just gonna sit around.
The only currency will be like fucking nostalgia and
uniqueness.
I don't know, like
you can make your own gun skin or whatever. Yeah. You'd be like, oh, this guy makes badass, tiger stripe skins. That will be the currency. Mm-hmm. Do you think it will almost be like Ready Player 2? Do you think we'll just like eat and drink to sustain our biological like meat avatars? But then jump into this digital world where it's just like you can be whatever you want, whenever you want. Do you think that will be the news? When there's nothing else going on, when we've just mastered everything, we've mastered like speed of light travel, we've beat the game. We 100% of the universe. We did all the side missions, we did everything. All there's going to be is just like, let's start a video game. And it's just going to get lost in that.
You know what's weird? I can see like fucking, because like the way like politics and societies have worked up until now is literally just like a bunch of humans assemble places and fucking roll the die, and like, you know, every country has ended up the way it has, more or less. Like, you know what I mean? There's not been some like arbiter of like, this is the direction of our society. But like, I think if we have almost like how people used to run like SimCity simulations, if you can get it to like be a perfect simulation, you can run simulations of like what happens if everybody does this, or what happens if everybody does that. Or like have people in this simulation doing crazy shit, but that they couldn't do necessarily safely in the real world. You know what I mean? And then leading to like changes in like real life.
What if that's how we determine what time travel is permissible? We make a perfect recreation of like 1963 down to the last human and simulate it, and we're like, all right, now someone go in there and just stop Lee Harvey Oswald. And if the outcome is good, we can assume that our simulation's close enough that we actually go back and do it. That's like, it's almost like, it's like military generals hanging out with Nick Saban, and they're weighing their options about what strike can we do and what strike can we not do. And they're like, should we go back in time and kill Hitler? And they're like, well, let's run it in the simulation. And it's like, whoa, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Like that's bad. Something you couldn't have foreseen happens. Maybe that's what it will be. I don't know.
People just get bored and fucking do that shit.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe somebody goes back, kills Hitler right at the beginning. He becomes a martyr, and like 3 guys come up worse than him. Like, it's not like there was great people behind him.
That's what I mean.
Like, let's be fucking real.
That's what I mean. I always think like, would you go back and kill Hitler?
Give him something to fight for.
Yeah.
I think it had to happen like that. He had to like fall apart in front of his people.
If you go back and kill Hitler, you live in a reality where time travel has been created. What if that was Hitler dying, or Hitler committing suicide and not being killed? What if that was like a necessary prerequisite to 1,000,000 degrees of relations later create time travel? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you kill Hitler, and you're like, it's just so much worse.
The butterfly effect, right? Because you think like killing Hitler would be good. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for that bastard burning in hell for eternity. But it's like, all right, so but what do we miss out on if we do that? Like, if we were to stop Hitler before he even started, and someone just killed his ass, right? Before he even fucking started influencing people and preaching his bullshit or whatever.
What if he died in World War I from an artillery shell?
Right, right? So what kind of ripple effect would that have? It's like, well, now we wouldn't have the frame of reference to be like, we don't want to be like Hitler, right? We don't want to fucking talk about like ethno-supremacy and all this other bullshit. The perfect race. We don't want to talk about like suppressing people's rights just so like a government means can obtain its goals or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So it's like Rob said, like,
okay,
I
get if one of the tribe members isn't eaten by the bear, as much as we miss Bob, who was ripped in half by a Kodiak bear, that's never happened and it's not in the collective memory. Eventually someone's going to be like, do you think bears are ticklish? It's just going to happen. And it might be worse. It might be a bunch of people and a lot of people die. Yeah. What if there's no reference for Hitler? And someone's just like, maybe it's in 2020, and they're like, what if we just cleansed society? But what if it happens in 2020 instead of 1920? But in 2020, you actually have like the technological capabilities to pull it off. Like, it's not the American propaganda posters of like, chang tong, ha da dong. Like, what if you could actually pull it off in 2020? And there is no way of stopping it.
Yeah.
Or it could have just gone like,
or it's just a lot better without them.
Think about it, or think about like the dynamics of the people who fought in World War II were taught, the reason they're going over there is to help humanity, to like save a group of people. Yeah. And then they come back to the States, and less than 15 years later, there's like fucking civil rights movement, right? So like, how would that even line up for those people in their mind of like, had they not gone to liberate a people, would they necessarily feel the same way at that time? Or because like, I'm not saying like there's a lot of and again, this isn't all of the states, but there was a lot of people who were like pro-Nazi idealism. Even in Canada, in America, all over the West, right? Like they were everywhere. So maybe if that hadn't happened, it hadn't stopped in their tracks, it wouldn't necessarily be Germany, but it would be somewhere else.
Yeah. It's not only that.
Yeah, because
Jesse Owens, Hitler met with him in the 1933 Olympics, but FDR wouldn't meet with him. Like, how does that not accelerate civil rights in America? And it's like, really, Hitler met with him, but our own president wouldn't? Okay, we got to change that. What if that didn't happen?
It's probably just like a photo op, just to the Iranians right now being like, the Americans are being too hard on their people.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up.
It's like, dude, do you know the Russians actually, or Soviets, in beautiful trolling, Cold War trolling, when we were trying to get our space program going after Sputnik and our rockets kept blowing up, the Soviet ambassador actually, he told the U.S. ambassador that the Soviet Union does a lot of we do financial aid to countries that are not developed. We could offer the United States. They did it to Kennedy or Eisenhower. They're but it's just trolling in the 50s. It was just if the U.S. would like some help, because I don't know if you know, but we got something into space, and we see that you've been trying, and maybe that's why we went to the moon. It's it's some people think the reason why Trump won is because Obama shit on him at that White House dinner. What if we weren't going to go to the moon, but Kennedy was like, fuck them, fuck those Russians, we're going to the moon? Because they came to the United States, and they're like, we would like to offer financial assistance and technological assistance with getting to space, because it seems that you guys are having a very hard time. Fucking trolling. Yeah. What were you gonna say, JP, before I interrupted you?
Rob was talking about, someone said, fuck, I can't remember, but basically I was going to bring up I also thought about the eugenics movement in America was still going on before the time of Hitler.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but I mean that was 2 conversations ago, so yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
What? But that would be fun to get a very accurate simulation of the world, even if it was just a single player, you couldn't play it online, but just to go in and tinker, kind of like Kerbal Space Program, how people make different rockets. What if you could go in and be you literally you see videos on YouTube, be I went back and I killed JFK and made Marilyn Monroe the president, and it's fast forward 2 decades and Guatemala is the world power, and it's how the fuck?
What the fuck?
How the fuck? It's what we were talking about with the artificial intelligence being so smart it sees repercussions that you could never imagine. It's breaking news starting tonight, there will be a 72-hour embargo on tomato sauce from Italy, and everyone would be why? And the AI would be you can't see it, but trust me, it's avoiding nuclear war. Just no tomato sauce. Just no tomato sauce. And it's you would never be able to tell, but that's what it would be.
I ain't standing for it.
Have you guys seen...
I'd go out protest. What?
Did you watch Rick and Morty at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch the episode where, I can't fucking remember why, he had some pendant or some shit that let him see the future?
The crystal. I do as the crystal guides.
The crystal. And
that was episode 1 of this season.
Yeah, but the whole time he's trying to go in this direction to be with this girl, but then you find out she's just a fucking nurse. Yeah. That's why she was there at his death. It's not that he spent his whole life with her.
Yeah,
she was there at the end.
Yeah, JP, do you know what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, no, I remember it now. Yeah, and the snakes, right? Is that the snakes episode?
Yeah. Is that the snakes episode?
No,
I can't remember.
No, I don't think that's the snake. I think
that's a different one. That was
okay.
It was a B story, but I can't even remember what the A story was.
I think I remember parts of it. That's from the newest season, though, right?
This
one
season.
that's still airing. Yeah. I watched all those episodes before the break, one time, and I love Rick and Morty. I usually watch the episodes a shit ton of times. But.
Yeah. Have you watched them since the break? The new ones?
I've been waiting for them all to come out. I'm going to binge the shit out of them. So.
I like them.
They're all out now. So.
I like the second. The second half of the season. I think it's pretty good. The anthology one, the train anthology.
Which? Yeah.
You don't take out your fucking wallet. No one's buying anything with this fucking virus. That's not spoiling it, JP. Don't worry.
Yeah. God, buy me another train, Morty.
You just buy. No, don't. No. You made Grandpa proud. You went right in there and you looked into the drooling jaws of capitalism and said, "Yes, Daddy. Yes, Daddy."
Yeah, basically. And he like Rick straight up. He's like, "No one's buying shit with this
fucking
virus."
Coronavirus. Credits roll. It's yeah. Yeah.
Damn it! Now I gotta go watch.
Dude, that one. I think that's the best one of the. I don't know. Rob, did you see the one where they go camping with the planet?
Yeah, where Jerry tries to. Yeah.
Well, God damn it, Rob. Not Rob. JP. Now we can't talk about these because I don't want to ruin them.
Go ahead and talk about it. You're not gonna ruin it for me.
Yeah, he's gonna goldfish it out, and then I'll be like,
there's the thing.
Go for it.
It's Yeah, but what if it is like that? Like you do as the crystal guides, and it's like, what? But it would be things that you could never predict, you know? So what if a portal opens up and I come back from the future, and I'm like, end this episode right now. And I'm like, it's cool, I haven't uploaded it yet. And it's like, no, you can upload the first hour. Just nothing more. And it's like, why? It's like, do you see this scar? And you'd be like, what happened? And it'd be like, everything happened. But that's what it would be like.
But then the actual real story is you were trying to upload, but it was like too big, and then you got frustrated, and then you were like opening a can, and then the fucking thing shot up and hit your eye because you were pissed off because you couldn't upload the full video.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it was just some petty bullshit, but you employed time travel to take care of it.
But knowing me, I know I would lie to myself, and I'd just drop in some keywords without technically lying. I'd be like, the George Floyd protests? But I wouldn't like. And in the to the future, I'd be like, "But you mentioned the George Floyd protests." Yeah, I was just making small talk. You douchebag, and it's like literally just have like a cut, and it's like, yeah, that's it. That's where are you from the future? No, just later today. Just don't upload it. Yeah. Do you ever think about that though? Like, what would like the smallest things, like how that would have changed shit, or am I just?
It always does though. Like it's constantly happening.
Yeah, I feel like you almost can't debate those things or you'll go fucking crazy.
You think about like these small things that just like steamrolled and turned into bigger fucking issues, like as time went on and shit. Like
like Gavrilo Princip, who was a stupid hormonal teenager who joined a terrorist group called the Black Hand with a bunch of friends, just doing some nationalist shit.
Taking on the fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? The Black Hand.
The Black
Hand. Sounds like some fucking 90s cartoon shit.
No, it's the terrorist group that assassinated Archduke Frank. Fuck you, Rob. It's the terrorist group that assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah, that fucking
set off World War I and then II and then the Cold War.
Yeah, but do you even know the story of like what happened when he went for the assassination?
Yeah.
It's not just like it's
like not just
within
it's fucking have you guys ever listened to Dan Carlin?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? His Blueprints for Armageddon?
Hardcore history. Oh yeah.
Hardcore history, that's his World War I thing. Yeah. It's like it didn't just happen. It's like
I know.
It's literally like the it's like when they like it's like when they bring in like the fucking like mentally challenged kid to play like the last play of a football game in a season, and they let all the other teams like, oh no, we can't catch them, and that's almost like what the universe was doing. It was like, we're gonna have World War I. Oh, you didn't get him? We're gonna just turn the motorcade around. So like, can't get him a second time? Pick up the softball, put it on the tee. Let's try it a third time. What will happen? It's almost like the universe was just like, you're going to get this. Like, you're going to,
There's no avoiding it. Yeah.
No. We're letting this kid score a touchdown. It's... Sorry for that. But... Have you ever seen that video where it's like making fun of those? Where they let like the mentally challenged kids like score? It's
I just remember there was one of those like I don't remember which movie exactly it was, But you know those like spoof movies that came out all throughout the early 2000s?
Scary movies and shit, yeah.
Teenage movie, superhero movie. And there's one, it's probably like teenage movie one, where it's like Rudy's going to score the goal and just gets fucking like clotheslined both ways and it cuts him in half. Yes.
It's you'll reckon
that one had fucking Captain America in it for crying out loud. Whatever.
Oh yeah. No, movie. Yeah, that's what it was. Fuck.
You'll recognize this guy's face if you go to his YouTube channel, Life According to Jimmy. He's been making like funny videos for like 10 years. You'll recognize his face and voice immediately. But he has a video where it's one of these like feel good, you know, he's gonna score the touchdown. And they're like, all right, now Jimmy is going to go out and he's going to play this. And, you know, he's having surgery tomorrow because he was born with a potato for a heart. And they hand him the ball and they're like, look at him go. You know, the other team's like, oh, we can't catch him. But then, like, someone didn't get the memo on the other team. And he just fucks him up. And, it stops his heart. Yeah, like, stops his heart. And, like, commentators are like, oh my God in heaven. And then like the guy that made the tackle's like, not in this house. Like there's a clip from College Humor about that. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys can go for like 8 more minutes because then I want to go play Modern Warfare.
That's good.
Yeah. There's a video on College Humor and it's like the losing team in the locker and they're like, how did we lose? And it's like, well, coach, it said nowhere in the yearbook that a dog couldn't play basketball. And he's like, I know what the fucking rule book said, all right? But it's a dog. Yeah. And they go on, and it's like, all right, well, next season we're going to get it. And it's like, who could have foreseen literal angels in the outfield? And it's just like, when they mention like flubber, and it's like non-Newtonian green bouncing jellies. Like, they're going on, and it's like, yeah, and it's all these like Air Jordan, like Mike, the kid that can dunk from like the half court because he finds Michael Jordan's old shoes. But they just go through all those, and they're like, how the fuck do we keep losing to these people? And it's
the same team.
So finally it ends with the going into the last game, and the coach is like, what do you do if you see a dog? And one of the kids is like, tranquilizer dart. He's like, good. What about a werewolf? And he's like, silver bullet. And he's like, good. Green Newtonian non-bouncing jellies. And the kid's like, hydrosulfuric bromide. And they're like, good. And they're like, we are done playing the fool. And they're just like, they're like, I got the rule books. I know which animals can and can't play. They've all got like guns and acid. And they're like, we're going to take these fuckers down. And then it like ends with like the cops like arresting the coach because they killed like 4, you know, they killed like a dog, and like they're like, we are the champions, and all the kids are being talked to by detectives. They're like, who provided these weapons? Where did you get this acid? They're like, there's a dog dead. You murdered an angel. You know, this kid that could dunk from the free throw line. You shot him. He died. He bled out, and it's just like, but it's and the coach is taken away to prison. But like it just ends like that. It's like it's like the best part is like, but coach, it says nowhere in the rule book that it says nowhere in the rule book that a golden retriever can't play basketball. I know. But yeah, they ended up just shooting everyone. But yeah, it says nowhere in the rule book that.
How many nudes are you gonna pwn on Modern Warfare?
I don't. Online, no, I don't play online. It's my own addictive problems. I purposely don't play online. JP and I have covered this before. It's so yeah, it's my own problems.
Basically, Tommy won't get anything done if he fucking decides to play.
There has to be a finite game that I can beat and get bored of. Because if there's not, I'll go forever.
Right.
We're talking about. That's why I'm using the podcast as a game, because T-Series has 140 million subscribers. I have 295. Just 295. That is my new goal. So I'm like, to me, I'm like, this is a video game that will keep me occupied for like another 25 years. So, but so the day before the George Floyd murder, me and my friend Duran did an episode, and we were talking about kind of how crazy life is but it's continuing to get more crazy to the point where the previous crazy thing is no longer crazy. Like Notre Dame on fire, oh my god. And then it just, whoosh. Next, World War III memes, we killed that Iranian general. Next. And it's just coronavirus. And that's where we were, as we were talking about, we're like, coronavirus is the big thing now.
Well, didn't fucking China just like invade some Indian sovereign territory and no one said anything?
I didn't know about that. But hold on. This is the train of thought I'm getting on. So we talked about, we're like, what's the next big thing? In a week, we're going to be like, man, they didn't see this coming. A week and a half later, man, they didn't see national riots with the military being drawn out. So that's where I'm getting at with this. June 4th, 1:27 p.m. Eastern Time. June 4th, 2020. Right now, coronavirus and the national riots over George Floyd. When we look back at this episode, what are we not seeing? What can we... I mean, there's no way you can ever predict it. You've seen something about China, but that doesn't count now because it's happened. What is the thing when we all get together again in, I don't know, July, August?
What predictions?
What?
Cool. Apocalypse predictions?
No, anything. What will be the... I mean, think about when Kobe happened. Who could have ever foreseen Kobe Bryant dying in a helicopter crash? Yeah. Look at what's happened since then. That is a distant memory now. That was the least of... That's probably the least bad part of 2020. And it was terrible.
Dude, not to mention, that's no more than 2 months ago that fucking happened, if I'm not mistaken.
Look up the date, please. I think it was... I don't know. But yeah, no, the point stands. Yeah, it was barely any... And that's the other facet of the insanity that we were talking about, was like, it's not just that this, we're talking about stuff 100 years ago. Like, yeah, people forgot about women's rights.
Oh, Jesus, I was way off. January 26th.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like, it's so crazy, but it's also, it was just yesterday that this stuff happened. So we talked about this, and then that day, George Floyd was killed. It's been, 7 days, 10 days? Different landscape.
What else?
Yeah. So what are we looking back on? We do an episode later this month or in July. What are we looking back on that we were laughing at these morons because they couldn't have foreseen X? Like, if you just said it going back in time and talking to us in November, you'd be like, man, they didn't foresee COVID-19. Well, if you've never even heard of coronavirus, you'd be like, what the fuck is COVID? Now, how do you spell it? Like, you wouldn't even know what it is. And then imagine if you said, oh, General Soleimani. You'd be like, who? And then imagine if you said, oh, the riots. You'd be like, what riots? You'd be like, the riots. You'd be like, what do you mean, the riots? So, like,
what do you mean, the riots?
So what common phrase is going on out in front of us in temporal space-time that we can't see? But it's going to be something like, murder hornets. It's going to be like, oh, they don't know about the space Vikings. You'd be like, what do you mean, the space Vikings? But it's going to be a term that gets normalized, like George Floyd, coronavirus. So what is the thing that's coming?
Fuck, I don't know.
Well, the point is
literally, you could tell me anything tomorrow that happened, and I would be like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily doubt it at first, but I wouldn't necessarily believe it. But I wouldn't be like, no. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Is I want us to make these predictions. I'll timestamp it, and before we do the next episode, we'll just watch these couple of minutes, and we'll see how wrong they were. So, to our future selves, what do we think the next thing is? I think... I mean, it doesn't matter, because you're going to be wrong. There's no way of predicting what 2020 has. 2020 is throwing 10 dice in a game of Yahtzee. Like, it's cheating. So, what do I think? June 4th, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2020. Right now, the riots are going on. I feel like it's too easy of a prediction to say there's going to be a shooting. We go back to society because after the riots, there is not a coronavirus spike. And it can't be because we already know about China. India fights back and the U.S. comes to the aid of India. And by July 4th, we are on the verge of going to war with China, with and Trump and Biden, inexplicably to us in the past, have become besties. That's my prediction. That's as much rationale as I'm willing to allot 2020. Yellowstones.
JP.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
You can't copy my answer, asshole.
No, I know I'm not. Fuck. God damn, dude, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to think about something.
Just
I want to say
suspend
something.
logic.
I want to say something like fucking volcano starts erupting, and it's so fucking big and like pushes all this fucking ash out into the atmosphere that flights need to be delayed, and then the fucking FAA like starts to tank, like seriously start to tank.
Okay.
Leaving the way for Elon Musk to come in and fucking clean everything up.
And there has to be some new thing, like instead of like masks, it would be like everyone has to wear stuff that like keeps the ash out of your respiratory system.
Yeah.
So we all
Everyone
wear those
has
like
to fucking
sun
walk
hats
around
with
an
like
umbrella.
nets.
Yeah.
We all wear like the mosquito net. That becomes a thing. Is everyone's walking around with like these Vietnam rice farmer hats, and we have That's the thing. You do not leave your house without your rice farmer hat, with your Vietnam cap, with your ash cap. That's what it will be. Rob?
I think there's gonna probably be a coronavirus bounce back, and we're all gonna be fucking.
Oh, that's cheating. That's too rational.
Why?
You can't say there's gonna be a coronavirus bounce back. It has to be the true insanity of 2020. Fuck you, Rob.
Well, like I'm worried more like the fact that they're going to try to lock down in time for the elections, and then there's going to be this like weird, I don't know, like I believe in your Constitution, you know what I mean? It's like I don't like the fuckery that I see.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see that guy try to pull some shit like that. Like it would be like low key sneaky bullshit, but like I don't know. I fear for kind of like you guys as a whole, if anything, because usually shit like this doesn't end up with like, okay, I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not exactly, Trump's not the kind of guy who would do that or take that move.
Yeah, my bad, guys. No, he'll launch the nukes before he apologizes.
No, fuck that shit. Like, yeah, I mean, yes, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, like, I see it getting worse, unfortunately, before it gets better.
Maybe not even something that's crazy, like an earthquake, but in a place where earthquakes don't happen. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, like, you get them sometimes in those, like, places that have been overly fracked and shit.
Yeah.
Tremors.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't know, like August snowstorms. Some freak thing.
There's been crazy, like, lightning storms up here.
Yeah. Like,
the humidity, like, the temperature is just, like, skyrockets, plummets. It's been fucking weird.
It'd be something, I don't know, I feel like Dennis Rodman is going to have a hand in this. Like him being BFFs with Kim Jong-un. I feel like...
Kim Jong-un hasn't been heard from in, like, 5 months, though.
Oh, yeah, is he... But that's what I mean by how crazy 2020 is.
That's true, man. Yeah.
That's what I mean. How crazy 2020 is. We're not even talking about it.
In a medical induced coma. Apparently he's brain dead, and there's like a woman taking over now.
Yeah,
it's his sister or some shit.
But that's what I mean. Is at one point that was the story, and now it's just come on. So what if Dennis Rodman takes over North Korea?
Kim Jong-un's sister. Yeah, he becomes the new de facto king of North Korea.
It comes out that Rodman is a CIA asset.
Rob, if you're right, I want off this fucking ride, dude.
I don't. Speed it up.
It's basketball programs nationwide.
North Korea beats the United States in the 2020 Olympics basketball. First time we ever don't get gold.
First time not under duress, the threat of death, just good old training.
What if What if Dennis Rodman starts recruiting a bunch of NBA players? He's like, they treat us like gods. Right. So there's this big exodus of retired NBA players. Like Tim Duncan and like Michael Jordan, they all go over there. And America gets its ass kicked by a bunch of retired basketball players playing as the North Korean Dream Team. Like Larry Bird, like John Stockton. They just go out and wipe the floor with America. North Korean Dream Team. There's a whole new Space Jam about it. I think, honestly though, I think those are pretty like reasonable guesses for 2020. Sure. I think that those are honestly, they're not that bad.
You told me a moral that like, yeah, Rodman had defected to North Korea and was like marrying Kim Jong Un's sister because they hit it off.
Yeah,
you know, I'd be like, yeah, okay,
I'd be like, yeah, sure.
2020 has taught us anything is that there's no glass ceiling for the fucking absurdity that can fucking happen.
Ooh, is something gonna happen to the Queen? Maybe
Queen of England?
Yeah, the Queen. Not like does she die? That's too like. That's low-hanging fruit. What if she gets on Twitter and starts, like, throwing beef at Trump?
I mean, I would welcome that at this point.
Like, yeah, that's right.
Like, that would be, like, sweet.
What if,
this is so off-kilter and nobody is affected in any way whatsoever. Just some old lady yelling at an old man.
Yeah, that's... And there's going to be some, like, unpredictable alliances. Like, Dennis Rodman and Putin, like, new best friends. Like, Trump. But it's going to be unpredictable alliances. Like, Trump and Trudeau are going to be they're the new, like, tag team. They're like, don't make...
Not judging by this week's rhetoric.
Nothing makes sense, though. You're using too much logic. 2020 cares not for your rationale.
Yeah, but... Fucking, I know Trudeau, and he's too much of a like liberal to do anything other than like
that's what the logical
throw kind of like English passive aggressive shade. Like,
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, but that is what the rational brain says. 2020 cares not for your rational brain, Rob. That makes too much sense. It cannot be something that makes sense. On that note, I can't wait to see how wrong we all are.
Right, yeah.
None of these dipshits foresaw Bill Murray taking over the cartels. Like, you know.
I'd be okay with that.
So would I. That would be fun. Yeah, they start their own terrorist squad called the Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Last prediction. Does Trump go on Joe Rogan?
Shit, does Joe Rogan have Trump on?
Yeah.
I think
Rogan
he
would.
I
think Rogan, I think he takes the meme quality way too valuable. I don't know. I think if he had on Trump, Elon Musk, and Alex Jones on the same episode, that would be it. We can't talk
that Alex Jones episode, dude. Holy shit.
Those are my favorite because they're fucking...
I'm kind of fucking retarded.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna lie, kind of retarded. It's like, I remember someone said they're like, in GTA 6, these Alex Jones episodes need to be on one of the radio stations. All 3 hours. You got to be able to turn them on and listen. Uncut, just listen to them. Yeah. On that note, I'm gonna go beat a hot new Modern Warfare 3. I'll let you guys know how it is. Give you guys a sneak peek, and I won't spoil The Office. All right, gentlemen, as always, until next time, if there is a next time, and if we're not all dead. I see it. All right, guys.
Fucking morbid. See you, Rob. See you, Tom.
Fuck you.
Take care.
Later.
Hat packets. Ma'am! Hat packets!